Yeah,
All
you
right.
gotta go out there and just destroy all of nature.
Yeah, that'll get rid of your allergies for sure.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure arson is a crime.
Who says you have to use fire?
Yeah,
The only way to be sure.
you can't be allergic to things if there's nothing left to be allergic to. It does appear as if my reactive images is going to be acting weird, so that's great. Still haven't figured out why it's doing that. But that's just wonderful. So, does anybody remember enough about last time to do the recap? Or should I go ahead and do it?
Well, we all had our awakenings, which were pretty cool little individual things for us all.
Cool for some, terrifying for others.
I mean, cool in the generic sense. Yes, I'm pretty sure all of us had some pretty terrifying things. I mean, at least two of us did. I'm not sure if finding your true lady love is considered terrifying or not.
Well, also kind of falling into a spiritual realm can be a little bit scary, I think. Maybe.
That is true. Going to an entire new plane of existence.
I believe you are muted, Kiyana, if you have been trying to talk.
Oh no, I'm fine. No worries.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem at all. Just wanted to make sure we got all the kinks worked out before we actually started playing.
No,
yeah,
I like
don't
it.
worry. I'm just making sure that no like weird ambient noise gets in. So.
I like it when we keep the kinks in now.
Okay.
Well, I can already tell that I'm gonna need to kind of work around the Discord reactive images because they are fading in and out constantly. So I'm just gonna put the edge of my Discord on the screen right now. So if at any point in this you don't know who's talking, you should see their name light up on Discord if the reactive images are acting up. And I apologize for that because I don't know why I've been having this problem so frequently with them. But, yes, we did have each of your awakenings roll out. Let's just have each of you give a quick summary of what happened in chronological order. So, Karadur, if you don't mind, please explain what happened. And who your character is and all of that for people that are just now tuning in and finding out.
Oosh. My character is Nicholas Bessette. He is a rich kid who grew up to be a doctor because his mother died of some strange, incurable illness that, well, let's just say he found out had a very unusual and taboo treatment that he finds that he also has this disease and will have to suffer through with. His awakening consisted of being pressed into service, basically, since a apartment building got set on fire in the hospital he was, it's not interning at for doctors, but basically interning at, had an influx of terrible, horrible burn victims. And he did everything he could to try to help them. And that's when he awoke.
Oh, and what was that like? You just like snapped awake and then, oh yeah, you're fine, you're cool.
I mean, he had an existential crisis about how he could see life through the walls and people looked like shining stars, and he kind of jumped into a couple people's minds in his attempt to, like, stop them from freaking out about, being burned and their loved ones possibly being dead. The usual things you do.
Yep, as it is, as it be. And then what happened after that?
Oh, after that, well, as you do after having an existential crisis, he called his dad,
Mm-hmm.
who came up and saw him and saw how terrible, terrible Nicholas looked. His skin was patchy and discolored. He was feeling kind of disconnected from his body. And his dad helpfully gave him some nice jerky to eat that really perked him up until he found out what it was made of. Which, if you've seen the plot to Soylent Green, may be familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, he apparently has some sort of rare genetic disorder that can only be staved off temporarily by eating human flesh, as it contains something his body lacks.
Well, I'm
And
glad that
we kind of left
mystery.
off my awakening on that.
Glad that mystery got solved, and then there's no downside to it because there's plenty of that meat laying around.
Not at all, especially since he's turned out to be a cosmetic surgeon going into the business of, helping people get their life back or be themselves after, traumas.
And then we moved from that story over to the story of Gemma. So what happened with Gemma?
Yes, I am Gemma. I was an orphan who was brought in by the church, and I was just enjoying my peaceful life until I had a run-in with a weird hippie girl. And I became quite intrigued with her talk of weird stuff that I was interested in, but I just didn't quite get it. But over time, I connected with her and we talked a lot about it. I never quite got it until eventually she disappeared and, well, I went back to the same place we always went to, which was the local park. And she mentioned how that place could, in its own way, be sacred. And one day I started to get it, looking through the lens of the book that we bonded over. I began to see that the area around me was much more verdant than I had seen before. And I'm not entirely sure what happened. There was a divine tree. I think my arm lit on fire for a little bit, but whatever happened, I want to uncover more about it. And I know that I need to go to Pleasant Valley because she said so. Or at least she messaged. I don't even know if it was her. Regardless, I need to go.
And what happened that may have led to that? Like something happened just before the end of your story?
Right. There was a vision of her in Pleasant Valley, but also I am getting a transfer from my church to another church in Pleasant Valley that needs the extra help.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Almost by divine providence.
almost.
And then we went over to Crusader's character, at one point known as Lorenzo. What happened with him?
Yes, I am the character formerly known as Lorenzo. Um, I am a chef, well, failed culinary student, kicked out of school, down on my luck. So I just started working at a restaurant that would hire me, and under some shady uh, circumstances, I had to cook an entire meal, even though that was not my position at the restaurant, which led to meeting a very wealthy individual who then loved the food so much, promised me that I could make the restaurant into whatever I wanted. And I it was an opportunity I just couldn't pass up. So, of course, I agreed to it, only to find out that I was helping the mafia and money laundering and such.
Mm.
But I mean, it was okay. Business was still good. I was making people happy with food, and that's what was really important to me. And then one night there was a, I guess like a gang massacre. The Zetskas assaulted the Giovanni family.
Mm.
There was pounding on my back door of the restaurant, someone shouting for help, so I went to investigate. When I got out there was nothing in sight, but there was some noise from a dumpster that I investigated, and then I was attacked by a person with amazing speed that I still can't believe. And everybody I know from the Giovanni family are pretty much dead. I barely got away by some Giovanni family showing up and shooting up the guy or scaring him away. And yeah, no, luck was just really on my side that night.
Huh.
I managed to get to a hospital, called up a childhood friend,
Who
and he said
was
that uh, that was Nicholas,
right.
Couldn't be. Can't possibly. I have no friends.
who said he could help make my problems. He could help take care of it, and offered me some cosmetic surgery. And so now I am no longer Lorenzo Viviano. I am now Anthony DeLuca.
Anthony DeLuca. And if I remember right, when we last left off, I had you, you had already undergone the surgery that Nicholas had given you. And I believe that catches us up to where we're at in the story now, which should be with Gemma on a shuttle arriving to Pleasant Valley, Anthony getting a full recovery from his surgery, and Nicholas getting the keys to the property next to his cosmetic surgery practice so that you can open up your bakery. Does that sound right?
Seems
sounds
to
right to
sound
me.
right to me.
All right. So, Pleasant Valley. As you, Gemma, sit on the shuttle that the previous church paid for to give you a ride there, you and the meager collection of belongings that you have are bumping along a hardly serviceable road. You've noticed that in the travel, the infrastructure around Pleasant Valley is somewhat lacking, someone might say. And
Mhm.
as you enter the town, you notice that building after building you passed is either some sort of decay, decrepancy. For sale signs litter every spot like a blight on this town. The entire place seems to be devoid of permanent residency. However, it is spotted, on occasion, by an older couple here and there, maybe a few old cars driving around. The occasional shop you will see open. Notably, one of the only ones around is an antique shop. And the shuttle drops you off at a station, and you are greeted as you exit the bus by a rather taller, older gentleman with a large beard and big purple sash with a cross on it. Hello! You must be Gemma! I'm Father Andrew.
Oh, okay. Yes. Hello, Father Andrew. it is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine! What a lovely little flower you are! Oh, you're so beautiful! It must be God's blessing on us for you to be here! And he puts his arm on your back and pats you.
I get a little nervous and I go like, yeah, yes, of course. It is definitely our Lord's blessing that I am here right now. Of course.
Of course! Well, come with me. There's no time to delay. Let's get you out of this dusty old bus and into our dusty old church. The jovial man is red in his face with laughter. Oh, you seem pretty quiet. Well, I hope that doesn't mean that you're shy around other people. We need someone to liven up this place.
Oh, well, I may be reserved, but I don't believe myself as particularly shy.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, well, let's not delay any further. He opens up a door. Come on, I'll give you a tour of the town before we drop you off.
Oh, yes, please. Although I must ask, I noticed that as I was coming in, there's a lot of vacancies. Is there really too much to see here?
Well, you may have undercut my ability to give you a good, rousing tour of Pleasant Valley, but it is true. Over the past couple decades, we've had kind of a run out. It's sad to say. Here, I'll explain as we drive.
Oh, yes, please do.
You sit down. He's got an old clunker of a car. He turns and revs the engine and it finally kicks over into a loud roar of coal and smoke billowing out of the back of it. There she goes, finally. All right. Well, Gemma. Well, let's take a look around here. So, as you can see, the best thing we've got in town is this old antique shop. It's run by, my good friend, Christopher. And he points to it. You can see a shop that's full of old clothing, some paintings that are hanging up in the windows. There's a little neon sign where it goes O-P-E-N, open, and then does it again and again. Isn't it a wonderful sight?
Oh, yes, I do believe it is.
Well, I can tell you can hardly contain your excitement.
Well, it's a quaint but cozy.
He slaps your knee. I'm just kidding with you. I know it's not much. I'm sure for some city slicker like you, it's a drop of nothing in a bucket of nothing.
Oh, I wouldn't consider myself a city slicker, but oh.
All right. Well, as you can see on your right over here, we have Pleasant Valley Elementary. We only recently built it a few years back. Other than that, the kids were just kind of taking a homeschooling up until high school times. But, we decided to do it, and it's been quite a success, I would say. Not that, there's very many youngsters hanging around, but I think maybe it'll be good for the future. You always have to plan ahead.
It is best to prepare for the future.
Right! I'm glad we understand. You're beginning to notice that he likes to cut you off and keep talking.
I am indeed noticing that.
Excuse me. Cyber, I know I'm very, talkative with chat most of the time, but because we're doing sort of a, role-playing thing today, I'm not going to be, directly talking with chat a whole lot, so I'm not being rude or anything, but, please understand we're going to be focusing on role-playing and not not doing chat interactions for the most part. Or at least I'm not. I don't know what other people do on their streams, but please be respectful of that. Thank you. And he continues to drive you around and tries to point out several locations of old places that he's reminisced over at long, lengthy descriptions dating back to his childhood. But what you glean from these conversations is that Pleasant Valley used to be a bustling town full of people. The railways would constantly cart in and cart out. They had a thriving economy with coal at its source. However, a couple decades back, the coal mine seemed to collapse, and there was no more coal to be found. And the operators had spent nearly all of their money trying to expand the mine, find other veins, but it ultimately proved fruitless, and the entire company went bankrupt. And with it, pretty much the rest of the town. Without a source of revenue and without the miners having income, people naturally ended up leaving and trying to find opportunities somewhere else. And as it resulted, most of the town is now just a ghost town. The people that remain are usually the old folks still back from the heyday that have not moved on. Their children mostly moved out. And the only few stragglers hanging on are a farmer here and there, or some people that just had property they can't afford to give up. And with that, they pull up in front of the First Catholic Church of Pleasant Valley. It's not much to look at. It's only a couple stories tall. You can see the white paneling on the outside of the church is beginning to chip and flake. There's some overgrown weeds and flowers and vines crawling up the side of the building and out front. Out front. And to the right side of the entrance, there's a little a gazebo and a little fountain there that seems to be very heavily overgrown with flowers.
Oh. Well,
and here we are.
You have a wonderful place here, Father.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. It's comfortable, I would say. If I had to give it some kind of positive spin. But I can tell you have reservations about it, and I understand that.
Well, sure, it could use a little bit of work in some places, but it is comfortable.
It is.
Besides, I am quite charmed by the flowers, even if they are taking over the place.
Yes, I love them myself. I know that this place needs a little bit of lawn work to it, but I can't bring myself to do any harm to these flowers. They just seem to bloom where they want, and I have nothing to say to it. However, the weeds and the vines I probably should tend to, but these old hands just don't have the power they used to have, the stamina. However, this old throat and voice can't stop me. It's just gonna keep on running, and you'll just have to learn to deal with that.
Yes, it does seem that will be the case.
I appreciate anyone who can say that to my face. Now, let's not delay any further. Let's go inside. He walks to the front door and throws open the double doors, and you can see a very small and quaint, sanctuary inside. There's only a couple rows of pews, and you can tell it's a bit disheveled, especially compared to the previous church that you stayed in. There are cobwebs near the ceiling that look like they've been there since Vietnam. There's dust in places that you think someone should have taken care of by now. And it just seems to be very untended to.
I see. I do believe I have some work ahead of me, but it's nothing that a day or two
Or maybe
three
a
would
week.
be.
Maybe a couple months. No rush, no rush. But it's true. We are going to need a lot of help here. Ever since the last of my helpers, well, they've pretty much left the church and gone on with their life. It's been a little rough around here. But I do have some good news. And he leads you to a back room where there's a kitchen. You can see that there are piles of dishes stuck in the sink, and it's pretty grimy and greasy back there, but you can tell it's a serviceable kitchen. As soon as we get done here, I've got a wonderful package waiting for us at the railway that I need to go pick up. It's going to be a new dishwashing system I need to hook up for the church. And after that, I am sure we can start giving out food again. For now, I don't think I want to serve anyone with what we've got here.
Oh, yes, I certainly understand that. Well, of anything, I suppose this is the absolute most important thing. After all, the best way to attract the lambs of God is to help the needy and the weary.
Precisely, we're of the same mind there. There's nothing that brings someone closer to God than a full stomach, in my opinion. He closes the door to the kitchen and then ushers you to another room. Now, I did used to have several residents here back in the day. I tried to tidy up the room a little bit so that it's not as musty and dusty as it previously was. But in my old age, I can't take care of everything. But at the very least, you will have a comfortable bed and some clean sheets and a window. But that's about it, I'm sorry. And he opens a very small, almost dorm style room. Creaky wooden floors and an old window that doesn't even look like it's tempered glass. And a bed probably made sometime in the 1800s with no springs to it.
Oh.
Well, don't let your excitement overflow. Try to contain yourself, Gimma.
Forgive me, Father. I mean, it is perfectly fine. We do not need much to do what we must do.
Well, I'm glad. Truly. Now, there is one more thing that I want to show you that I was told by your previous reverend that you might be most excited for. And he once again ushers you to one last room. He opens the door, and it's the door to his office. And you can see that there is a large wooden desk with an old rotary phone sitting on it. There's papers all over the place. Books on shelves are kind of knocked over. No, not this, not this. Don't worry about this room. What I want to show you is back here. And there's another door in his office that when he opens it up, you can see into a dark room. He walks in a little bit and reaches up and pulls on a light with one of the pull cords on it. And when it illuminates, you can see it's an entire library of books in there. Old books.
Oh.
Now I know it's a little bit messy, it's a little bit dusty, and there's probably a spider or two hanging around in here, governed by the amount of webs I see. But this place does have a history to it. We've, all the way back, I would say 200 years ago when the church first started, we've collected all of the names of all the donors and kept catalogs and journals from all the sisters and fathers that have stayed here. And hopefully, some of it's of interest to you.
Oh, I am most certain that quite a lot of this will be of interest to me. Wow, I am truly impressed by this.
Great!
Yeah, it's an impressive collection, Father.
I've tried to keep up with it, but as with most things around this building, a lot of it has simply slipped through my fingers. And it's hard to get up to the tops of the shelves, so as things fall down and scrolls fall over and books open up. I'm sure the humidity hasn't helped either. Any number of things. But as we do a little bit of a fixer-upper around here, I'm sure this place will be great, and you might find a thing or two to keep for yourself. I'm sure it'll be in good hands. I've been told that you have a lot of care for books. So, hopefully, that makes you happy.
Yes, this makes me quite happy. Thank you.
You're welcome, Gemma. I hope you feel like home soon enough.
I'm sure that I will. Thank you.
Right. Well, would you want to join me on my errand? We need to go down to the railway and see if we can pick up some cargo. I'm not sure if my old clunker can handle the whole dishwashing system on its own, but we can certainly give it a try, right?
Oh, yes, of course. I would love to assist you on this.
Very good. All right, let's get over there, and then maybe afterwards we could stop at McDonald's.
McDonald's?
Yes, well, there's not a lot of, hometown restaurants left. The only ones are on the outskirts of town. We have a couple of fast food joints. And this old man is in no position to cook for himself, let alone a fine young lady like yourself. I don't want you getting food poisoning on your first night in Pleasant Valley.
Yes, I appreciate that. It's just, I've never had it before, so this will be different.
Well, hopefully you're in for a treat. Then again, I can't promise you won't get food poisoning from the McDonald's either.
Okay.
It's a joke. I'm sure it's fine. I'm almost certain. When you get back into the car, come on! Smacks the dashboard, and you begin to vibrate intensely towards the railway.
Yeah.
Now, we switch gears and head on over to the Bessette estate, where we have Nicholas Bessette and Anthony DeLuca. These two are preparing to renovate one of the properties owned by the Bessettes. They want to open up, or at least Anthony wants to open up a bakery in Pleasant Valley. And they are going to have to use one of the old residences near Main Street. Very recently, Gregory Bessette, Nicholas's father, had given him the key to the building. It apparently belonged to one of your old great uncles. However, he had passed away several years ago, and so the house has been untended to, considering that he's hardly ever in Pleasant Valley himself. And so now, what do you do?
I mean, we have to go check out the place.
Said we just got the key, correct?
Yep.
All right.
I know you think it's crazy, but I really think we need to open up some type of a food place here in this town. I haven't been here long, but it doesn't seem like there's many options for people to get good food.
No, it's rather tiresome having the same 3 fast food options every day. But I'm sure you'll be able to spice up the cuisine here. You were, after all, always cooking things when we're on our trips. I assume you've kept up with that.
Oh, absolutely. I might have run into some problems with culinary school, but my pizzeria, it ran like clockwork. Never a complaint. Always very happy customers.
Now, I'm sure once we get this place modified for your needs, that you'll have more customers than you know what to do with in this town. But first, let's see what Uncle Francis's old home was all about. It's been quite a while since I've been here.
Well, as you stroll up to the building, you can see that it's an old two-story house with blue siding along it. Similarly, seems to be chipped and somewhat sun-bleached on one side as it's sat over the years. There is a cement stairway leading up to the front door with two very large windows peeking into the living room. The door is white with paint that seems to be falling off and peeling back, and an old brass handle that seems to be weathered. However, the key still seems to fit and unlocks. Squeaks the door as you peek inside. Despite being midday, the house seems unusually dark. Almost as if it's not been lit for a long time and it chooses to keep itself that way.
Oh, it could be worse. The door opened at least.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sure we're nothing's gonna fall on us or anything. Like, we're not gonna fall through a floor. No,
I wouldn't be so certain of that. I'll step inside carefully. I know a lot of the old houses are wooden and not well taken care of, even if they used to be quite well put together.
Well, you can definitely tell that this house was built with wooden supports. With each step as you clump through the foyer, you can hear the wood creaking beneath your feet. However, it does open up into a very wide living room. The sort of musty, stale air is very thick, but you can immediately tell it's beginning to wash out with the front door open and inviting in a breath of that fresh air.
Oh, let's say go around and open all the windows first as we see what we have to work with. Be careful for any rats or the like, Anthony. We don't want the health inspectors on us quite yet.
More worried about like a rusty nail or something sticking out where it shouldn't be.
Mm.
I'm sure you have solid footwear.
Can I have each of you give me a... It's going to be an awareness roll. Let's see. Perception alertness. Perception alertness?
Oh, that I do have.
Alertness or awareness?
Alertness.
Okay. Perception alertness.
Difficulty 7.
No modifier. Difficulty 7. All right. I believe I got 4 successes, it looks like, and no ones.
Yep, I see that.
Sorry, what was the difficulty?
7.
7. Okay, sorry.
1.
I got 1.
As you guys walk through the property, you're able to see, kind of in your head, how this bakery could come about. if you kind of knock out this wall between the living room and the foyer, that could easily become the dining area, maybe where you have a counter where you can put these bakery delights, these pastries. And the kitchen and bathroom area, you're probably going to have to renovate in order to get the right pipes, the machinery, and all of that in. The second floor might be good for an office space. However, Anthony, you only notice a couple problems. Obviously, you've had a lot of professional experience in workplaces, and you already see the signs of rats. Nicholas, you specifically notice that there are bugs everywhere. You've got cockroaches crawling around. You've noticed a couple of lines of ants in the corners crawling in and out of the building. And you're almost certain in one of the vents you saw a handful of termites.
This may require a little bit more investment than I had originally thought, but no worries. We still can get an exterminator in here to bomb the place out. I'm sure there are still some old hands around to help us renovate. I'd like to hire as locally as possible, help out all the people that have been out of a job for quite a while. But there's probably not any appliances up to your standards here. We'll have to have those shipped in.
That shouldn't be an issue. Having appliances shipped from places isn't as much of a problem as workers coming from other places.
Town had a lot of people out of work and, fair hands at construction and the like. I'm sure we can find someone or a group of people that'd be happy for the work.
Ah,
Good to help other people.
Your exploration of the house leads you to a doorway in the kitchen that has stairs leading down to a basement. And I'm sorry. During your exploration of the house, you realize that any light switches and light fixtures in the house seem to be without power. Seems like there's no power in the house at all because it's probably been cut off for years now.
Probably same for water and all the other utilities in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
However, the doorway leading down to the basement, that feeling of darkness is very strong there. It is in the middle of the day, and the light that's piercing in through the windows in the kitchen feels like it should be illuminating this basement more. But perhaps it's just a thought in the back of your head.
Well, I didn't think to bring a flashlight or anything, but Luca, sorry, Anthony, not to call you by your last name. I'm sorry,
Mr. Luca.
Mr. Luca. Anthony, does your phone have a light on it? I've not kept up too much with mine.
Most phones do.
You want to check out the basement?
I mean,
Looks
we
like
should. Before we have other people come in here, it would be irresponsible if something dangerous was down there and we sent someone else in.
Well, and let's go see what the damage is down there. With all the rats and bugs here, though, we'll probably want to be careful about where we step.
As you descend the staircase with your light out, you can see on the edges of where the illumination is little creatures crawling out of the light and hiding back in the recesses of the room. You can see this room is full of antiques, old furniture with blankets draped over them, lamps and old keepsakes, maybe paintings and frames, chairs stacked on top of each other. Almost all of the accoutrements of an old-fashioned house stored away in one spot, but teeming with life. All of the spiders and centipedes, roaches, and whatnot seem to be crawling on every surface.
Oh, that is considerably worse than I thought was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, after you.
Uh, in based on recent events, I feel like I've been in worse situations. So sure, let's go.
You take several steps in the basement. You can see that the basement doesn't stretch out through the whole floor plan. It seems to be a little bit smaller than what's up above. There doesn't seem to be access to the ground. Like there's no windows near the ceiling or anything like that. It's completely blocked off. Several of the primary structural beams to the house at least appear to be intact. They don't look rotted or warped, and there's no signs of termites directly on them. And in the very back of the building, or of the basement, you can see a small stairway that leads to a door to presumably some crawl space in the back side of the house. Otherwise, it is just a cluster of old wooden furniture.
Oh, there's certainly more things down here. I thought. I want to examine some of the furniture. Is it just dusty and covered? Does it look like it would be useful that we could repurpose it, or is it kind of rotted away?
Well, it doesn't appear to be water damaged in any way. It doesn't seem that they are. It doesn't seem broken. It seems like all serviceable things that perhaps with a little bit of elbow grease you can clean up and get into.
Termites haven't really gotten into it or anything? No real water damage looks like down here?
Correct.
Alright. Well, I think the first order of business is to poison everything and then come back afterwards.
Yes, that is the absolute best start to a restaurant. Let's poison everything in the building.
It's true. Well, we are now going to switch gears once again. Back inside the bumpy ride of Father Andrew's...
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I know we went over briefly before that the first dot in spheres lets you sense things, right?
Correct.
Is that a passive ability, or is that actively something I need to actively work on or
you have
engage, sort of thing?
You actually have to cast it as magic.
Okay, so I don't always just sense the life in things around me then.
Correct.
It's got to be a thing I'm actively trying to do.
Right. You need to basically cast a spell that lets you sense sight. And so it's a very low difficulty thing, and since it's only something personal, it will always be coincidental magic because nobody can really know you're doing it for certain unless they have their own like mind magic or something.
Unless I go, oh, there's a guy over there through that brick wall.
Well, even then, that's still coincidental because people can say that all the time and be right or wrong. So
it's just a really, really lucky guess is all.
However, there's some like limits to it, but for the most part, that's basically how it is. So if you want to use you basically need to cast it.
Just very curious about that, since it seems like it would have come up if it was a passive thing in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry to interrupt. Thanks for letting me know.
That's fine. So, as you are bumbling along down the road, heading to the railway, you're able to see out the passenger side window a smaller blue house on Main Street and two people walking out of it. and you catch glimpses of little golden leaves floating through the air towards them as you pass.
Wait, what? Uh-huh. I kind of like look out the window and try to like, be like, what was that? Excuse me? Huh?
Gemma, dear, what is it?
Oh, nothing, Father. I just thought I saw something is all.
Oh, what's that? He, slows down to somewhat of a stop and looks back. Oh, yes, the old Bessette family. Wait, is that young Nicholas I see there? Hold on. And he throws a U and goes back towards the house. Nicholas and Anthony see this old clunker of a pickup pull up in front of them. And Nicholas, you would recognize Father Andrew. He's definitely older than he was the last time you saw him. He steps out of the car and, like the motor mouth he is, just goes right into his spiel. Nicholas, my boy, how have you been? And comes up to you.
Father Andrew, you're not dead yet.
The good Lord hasn't taken me back into his arms yet. Must have more work to do here. How have you been?
Oh, just inspecting my great uncle's house. We're going to put in a bakery.
Oh, that's what the Bessettes are doing with old Francis's house. Well, I'm sure he would love to know that if he was still kicking around. Oh, how rude of me! Let me introduce the newest helper over at the church. We have Gemma here. Gemma, please introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. I make a soft bow and I say, I am Sister Gemma Linguini. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, she's going to be helping us out with Old Dusty Church. This Gemma is Nicholas Bessette. He is the eldest son of, well, the only son to Gregory Bessette. That old fool. Oh, and I'm very sorry. Who's your friend here?
This is Anthony. He is the baker I'm bringing in to run the new bakery.
Well. Nice to meet you. I am Father Andrew. And he puts out his hand to shake yours.
I will shake his hand. Firm grasp. A pleasure to meet you. Yes.
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it in your hand.
Shake vigorously.
And he returns, he shakes it again, almost trying to one-up you. Well, I can already tell you're going to be a strong one here. Tell me, what is it that you like to bake most?
Oh, I have lots of specialties I enjoy, but really anything with the most exotic ingredients is what I prefer.
Well, we
But
could definitely
anything.
use that kind of spirit around here. All the old, same old stuff has been clogging us up for too long. Having something fresh and new is going to be real interesting.
While Gregory is accosting Anthony, I'm going to go over to Gemma and kind of give her a slight nod and do a little aside with her.
This is, by the way, it's Father Andrew.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Was it not?
But go ahead.
It's not. Yeah, Father Andrew.
Gregory is
sorry.
your dad.
Gregarious is what I wrote down for him.
Yeah.
Missed that name.
Forgetting your own father's name. Ooh,
No,
how could you?
Gregarious is Andrew's personality type
Yeah.
I had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very Gregory-like. Go ahead.
Gemma seeing this just kind of lifts an eyebrow, goes, okay, and I'll just step aside with this Bessette person.
I'd like to welcome you to our little town and apologize on behalf of it for Father Andrew. I'm sure he's been quite a handful.
Oh, you don't have to apologize for him. He is a perfectly fine servant of the Lord.
Yes, I'm sure he is.
I actually have a question for you. I've noticed the name Bessette being thrown around a lot. Is
Oh.
that your family?
Yes, the Bessettes are one of the older, more famous families, you could say, in the area. We owned a lot of the land and parts of the mines back when we were still mining here.
I see. So big family ties.
Yes. And in fact, I've come back to kind of reinvigorate the town. As you've seen, it's not doing so well. And I'm
Well,
happy to see that there's somebody else that can help at the church besides Father Andrew.
oh, yes, of course. I have been sent here as well to serve the Lord and help invigorate this town. It sounded like they really needed me, and well, I think I can confirm that yes, they do.
Anyway, I'm glad you're here, and if you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I realize things have gotten rather down about the town, and I'm not sure how good of a situation the church or anything else is in. I've been away for a while, but I'm I'm trying to help, and I'm certain that, well, I'm certain you've seen how the town has been and how the father is. So don't let him get to you too much. Anyway, I'm going to have to go save Anthony in a moment. It was
Wait,
nice talking to you.
one more
Oh.
thing. What do you know about... Never mind. I'm not going to waste your time with it.
Well, I run a little practice down the way. I'm sure the father will show you eventually. If you're ever sick, come over. I won't charge anyone in this town for anything. Have a nice day. I'll head back over and see if Anthony has been browbeaten to death yet.
As you turn away from Gemma, you can hear Father Andrew prattling on about how he had the best cannolis he's ever had a couple years back when he was traveling around, and how he wishes he could eat food like that again. But Gemma, I need you to make a perception awareness roll. Yours is awareness. Perception awareness.
With gusto.
And it will be a difficulty 7.
Awareness. Perception. Aha, this talent thingy. Wait, hold up. How do I actually roll this again? It's
Yeah, you set the dipole up with that little cog next to it, and then you'll just click the dipole button afterwards.
DP mod 0 or
Correct.
mod 0 difficulty 6. Wait, how many am I rolling? Wait, I've got 1 point in it. Does that mean the mod is 1 or?
Nope, you got it.
Okay.
It's fine. So you had
Okay,
perception 3 and awareness 1, so that should be 4 dice.
That's 5?
That does look like 5.
I don't know how this happened. I'm sorry. Oh, because I didn't actually set up the stuff. Oh, okay. Okay, perception, awareness. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You had 1 success and 1 botch, so it came out to 0. With that, I would say, despite the little golden leaves appearing at the time, you don't see them anymore. But you do have this sort of goosebump, hair standing on end feeling being near this house.
The house, you say?
Yeah. Just kind of being in proximity to it.
And Father Andrew, he's still preoccupied, correct?
Yeah, he's trying to talk off Anthony's ear about food and not letting him get a word in edgewise.
And what is the status of the front door?
It's still
We left
open.
it open.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
trying to air out the place.
I would like to step inside if that's okay.
I'm not stopping you.
Oh, then I'd like to go inside.
All right. You walk up to the front door and you take a peek in. A similar feeling as I described before, where the musty darkness, it's not as bad since it's airing out now, but you just feel like it's so dark in here.
It's unnatural. I have an idea. Would I happen to have the book on me right now?
I see no reason why you wouldn't. As long
Makes
as,
sense.
I mean, like, before you were kind of sneaking it around, do you have, like, a backpack or maybe, like, a courier bag or something like that?
Tank, that's actually a good question. Do I?
I mean, I don't think it's like power gaming or anything to say that you have a bag or a purse
Yeah.
or something that can carry a book with you.
Yeah, I got a satchel. There we go. Let's say that.
Okay, yeah, you got a satchel and you got the book in there. Seems fine to me.
Okay. I mean, if places can be important and this one feels funny, I want to open the book and see what happens.
All right.
To see if something similar to what happened at the park happens.
So, what is the effect you're going for right now? You're trying to. No, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to do is open the book and see something like I did with the park, like some real state of this place,
All right.
if that is such a thing.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is basically use spirit vision. You're going to like put on spirit goggles right now. And you're going to use the book as your focus. So what you need to do is roll your arete, and it's going to be a difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4.
Yep.
Ooh,
2 successes.
I actually succeeded something. Let's go.
There you go. So you pull the book out, and as you look into the pages, once again, the opaque sort of vanilla color of the paper begins to fade, and you can see into the sort of spirit realm around you. The house itself is way more illuminated inside the book. You can see old fixtures. There was an armchair in this living room that's now no longer there. It's almost like you stepped back in time to when this was a house that was lived in. There's an old fireplace that in the real world doesn't even seem to exist there anymore, and it just seems way more homely. However, you can tell that in the corners of this house are unimaginable darkness. While the fireplace is bright and illuminated, it seems to have a very concentrated effect, because as it goes further into the recesses of the house, the corners are very, very dark.
Oh, how bizarre. It's different from before, but this certainly is interesting. Maybe there's more. I shouldn't be nosy, but well, I suppose no one actually lives here right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least from the conversation I gathered. I'm gonna start wandering around, seeing what else is in here. Maybe I'll find something related to the golden tree. Maybe. I don't know.
As you continue to walk around the house, occasionally you see slight images of the outside through the windows. You can see a very vibrant, bright green, sunny day outside. Sort of like when you were in the park before, where it seems like the outside world is just turned the saturation tuner all the way up on a picture. And those little glimpses of warmth seem to pour into the house, but then get consumed by the edges and the walls that are far away from the light. And eventually, you are brought to the same basement door that Anthony and Nicholas were just at. And despite seeing beyond reality and looking down into the darkness, it's even darker looking through the book than it is with your own eyes in reality.
Oh, what pit of unfathomable darkness have I crept upon? What is this? It surely is not natural. And I wonder. This feels so much different. So much darker. I wonder if sacred sites can be found this way, then does that mean the profane can be found as well? Have I found a site of deepest profanity?
As that thought or those words cross your mind, a cold and chilling air seems to move through the basement and up the steps, just light enough to brush back your hair slightly. Not a lot of force, but considerably colder than the air around you.
You know, I don't think I'm in the mood to deal with a demon today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn myself around and just try to play this cool. Just close the book. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
All right, when you close the book, the magical effect kind of fades immediately. It's because you were basically using it as like a periscope into the spiritual world. The feelings of darkness don't seem as amplified now. You still have that kind of, goosebump feeling like something's wrong, but it's not nearly as amplified anymore.
Oh yeah. I mean, in my eyes, there is definitely something wrong here, and yeah, I'm not gonna stick around for now. I'm gonna just not and figure out what to do with this information.
As you step outside, you can see Father Andrew give a look to you as he's in the middle of saying, "And that was the best damn donut I've ever had." God forgive me for that, but that was, it was wonderful. Oh, Gimma, how was it? How was it in there? Does it look like a nice place to eat?
No offense, Father Andrew, but I would not want to eat in a place like this.
I kid. I know they have so many renovations ahead of them. Well, the reservations will be there soon, I hope. Isn't that right, Nicholas?
Yes, though there are quite a lot of bugs and the like that we'll need to get rid of first. It seems that it wasn't as well taken care of as I had originally hoped. Though structurally still seems sound.
I'm gonna mutter under my breath at this point and just go, "You have a lot more to get rid of than bugs."
Alright, can I make a check to hear that?
I would say yes. I think that would just simply be, like perception, alertness. Let's just do perception, alertness again.
All right, perception alertness. Difficulty?
5. I get the feeling she wasn't trying to mask that a whole lot.
Looks
2.
like I got a 2.
Wow. Yeah. You basically heard her say something along the lines of more than bugs.
Gotcha. I'll just tuck that away for the moment.
Oh, what are you talking about there? Is it something? You said the structure is fine, but if there's a lot of bugs, is there something we can help you with?
Unless you know a good exterminator around here, I'm trying to hire as locally as possible.
Oh,
Yes, Father. I know that we must aid the community, but I'm sure that we of the church have our talents useful elsewhere other than exterminating.
no,
Yes,
no.
I don't believe his house is haunted.
Wait, did you actually say that out loud, or
Yes, that is what I said.
Wait, you just said your house is haunted?
I said I don't believe his house is haunted. As in my Uncle Francis's house.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, I certainly
right,
hope
yes,
not.
I'm sure your house isn't haunted. Yes.
If it was haunted, then who better than to turn to than the church to cleanse it?
Oh, I
Right.
could think of a few people.
The church has definitely had its times where we had to handle such things, and can't say personally that I've ever had a situation like that come up, but I bet there's some protocol that I can follow for it. I bet there's definitely someone higher up the chain that I can talk to, and talk to them is especially what I'm good at.
That won't be necessary, Father. I'm sure that if anything is wrong, I can handle it. I wouldn't want you to stress yourself over such a thing.
Well, just know, Nicholas, my boy, that the church is here to help. I know that you haven't been around here very long, and I don't hold any ill will against you. But if you need something, feel free to reach out. We're right here.
Of course, Father.
Yes.
Now, where were you heading? You couldn't have been coming here. I'm sure you're very busy.
No.
Is there anything we can help you with before you go?
Well, as a matter of fact, we're planning on doing a couple renovations of our own. As I said, we've not really been too busy around here, and I needed a little bit of help around the church, so thankfully we had Gemma transfer over here to give us a little bit of a hand, and in preparations we raised enough money that we can get ourselves a state-of-the-art dishwashing system for the church. I was really excited, and we're going to head over to the railway to pick up the cargo before bringing it back.
Well, don't let us keep you then. I'm sure that is very busy and important work. After all, you need clean dishes to eat off of.
Certainly. And I bet once we get that place spick and span, we'll be able to open up a few free lunches for the people around town. Maybe get them coming back in so that the good Lord can bless them.
Well, if it's feeding the hungry, I am more than happy to help with that.
And
if this man is implying he's going to feed people with this building, I'm just gonna have this grimace on my face.
If you ever find yourself missing any cooks or anything and you need help, please do reach out to me.
I was just about to suggest the same. I'm not sure if I would be suitable to feed anyone, and I don't know what Gemma here is capable of either, but if it meant that we got some delicious food in us, we could definitely use a star chef in the kitchen.
Oh, yes, of course, Father. I mean, I know the very basics of how to cook, but I'm sure that this...
I guarantee Anthony is the best cook in this town.
Well, we'll definitely see that soon enough, won't we?
Yes, I will take your word for it.
I'm excited. I'm so happy that we might not have to eat McDonald's again for too long. I'm getting old of it.
I am with you there, Father.
The more you people talk about McDonald's, the less appetizing it sounds.
That's
Well,
because it's not very appetizing to begin with.
it's true.
I pause, grimacing just a little bit, and then say, Since it is your first day in town, Gemma, if you want, you can come over to our place and I'll have Anthony fix all of us a good meal as a welcoming gift for you. I would not want to have McDonald's be your welcoming meal to our little valley.
You mean somewhere else than this place, correct?
Oh, yes, I'm not Uncle Francis's house. I don't think anything works in there and is nutritional as insects can be. They aren't something I'd also want to foist onto anybody.
You have to get just the right ones. That's not what's in that house.
Well, I suppose if you're offering, I could. Father Andrew, what do you feel about this?
It's wonderful! Look at that! It's not even been a couple hours and you've already made a couple friends, Gemma. See, it's divine providence again! The good Lord is looking down on you and showering you in blessings.
Yes,
I
the
do
Lord
believe so.
does shower us all.
I really feel like that was kind of gross.
I'm sorry. I am getting across that Nicholas isn't super into the church, aren't I?
I know.
Okay.
I'm glad it is working. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, God.
Oh yes, we need to head over to the railway before it gets too late. I'm not even sure if this old clunker can haul it. We might have to leave it there for a while if we need to go rent a U-Haul from the next town over.
Nonsense, Father. Just give me a call and I'll make sure it gets to the church.
Nicholas, you're a good boy. All right, Gemma, let's get on. It was nice seeing you all and nice meeting you, Anthony.
Oh,
Nice to
yes.
meet you too. I look forward to having you over for dinner.
Have a wonderful day, you two.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to kill her too quickly, Father.
Wait, kill me. What?
I think Gemma's the only one that has spirit spheres, right?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Can you give me another perception awareness check?
I sure can.
This one is now only a difficulty 6 instead of 7.
Okay. Oh.
Nice roll.
Oh, God, okay.
Well done.
As you guys say your farewells and you go to get back into the car, the scent of the musty air from the basement sort of drifts out of the house towards you, and very lightly, almost a millimeter from your ear, you hear, "Help."
What?
Come on! We don't have time! The sun's gonna set not after too long, and I don't want to be stuck with a big machine in the back of my truck that I can't get back to the church.
I look back at the open door and begrudgingly I go along with Father Andrew, but making a solid point that I will be back by the end of this day.
As
There is
he
no
once
doubt about
again spends a couple of minutes trying to rev up his engine, the clunker finally roars to life, and he starts to pull away. He turns to you. You seem sort of drawn to that house, Gemma. Is there something about it? Are you nostalgic for something? Does it remind you of someone? I've seen that forlorn look before.
Father, I have a question of you.
Absolutely. Shoot.
If you were to exercise a house, how would you do it?
Well, that's not exactly in my purview. If I had to guess, I would need to call up a bishop and have to organize it. There's usually a whole to-do list for that. Oh, it's a lot of protocol with the church. You see, they don't like to do that a lot nowadays since it's so looked down on, but on occasion there can be exceptions made, and a couple people called in to handle it. Why do you ask?
I feel a foul presence from that place.
Oh, it's just old. It's been like that for a while. But, I don't know, I've had a couple people with a nose for these kinds of things. It's something we could probably look into, but you've had a recent move, things are shifting for you, and we just met some new people, and I'm sure that house is foul of its own stench, supernatural or otherwise. We'll give it some time, but if you still feel that way, perhaps it's something we'll look into.
I see then. Perhaps you're right, Father.
Right. Let's just focus on the task at hand and see where it leads us. Good Lord knows what he's doing. Let's trust in him.
Yes. I always have my faith in the Lord.
Right. And you guys speed along to the old railway station. You can tell the place was, at one point, much bigger central part of the town. It does seem like most of the roads lead to and from it. And there's big, I don't know what they're called, but like the turntables that the tracks are on that help the trains get from one track to another. You can see old, rusted out carts that have been sitting there probably for years. And there's only a couple tracks that are currently in use just to shuffle along some cargo, and maybe on occasion a transport train may stop off every once in a while. But for the most part, most tracks seem to not be in use anymore. He spends some time in the office. They're able to get the package, and they bring a forklift out. They load it into the truck. Everything seems to go as normal, and truck is able to hold it and bring it back. As this goes on, what are we doing with Anthony and Nicholas?
Oh, well, first off, I'm going to make the comment that I don't think Gemma is going to last a week. And then,
Oh. Rude.
but I think we'll probably head back to my place to arrange for everything we need. It's going to be a lot of work to get that house put together, and I've cordoned myself into dinner reservations with the father and Gemma. So I'll have to talk to Anthony about what we're going to do with that.
Yes, and I will have to spend the time planning a meal, and I, realizing was an idiot and did not ask for any type of dietary restrictions that they might have had.
Well, considering the state of the town, there isn't a whole lot of food options available. There is a grocery store and a farmer's market. However, the farmer's market is beginning to wind down for the day, and the handful of farmers that still use it have already started to pack up. But if you want to head over that way, you can see what you can get from them. Otherwise, the only grocer in town should still be open until at least later in the night.
Might be worth it to go to the farmer's market. I
Oh.
might need to make some connections there.
Sounds good. I'm going to defer to Anthony on food terms.
Sounds like a good plan. When you arrive at the farmer's market, you see a couple of the stalls have already closed up shop, but you do see there is one farmer there. His name is Roger. Nicholas, you would recognize him. He and his family have been around for a long time. a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, lots of carrots, potatoes, cabbage, and they also have a apple orchard under their family. It's not necessarily the most bountiful harvest. They don't look like they're the largest vegetables, but it's more than serviceable at reasonable prices.
Hey, is that the old, what's his name? Is that Nathan? No.
It's Nicholas.
Nicholas! Oh, Nicholas, me boy. Yeah, old Gregory's kid. How you doing, boy?
I'm doing well. Hopefully you are doing the same? How is the market?
Old Roger's just kicking this old can down the road the best I can. So, what you in the mood for, boy? I'm just about to pack up. I see my intuitions were telling me to wait for the next kind folk to come through, and now I'm getting a trip down memory lane looking at you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm actually gonna leave Anthony, my friend here. We're building him a new restaurant in town, so hopefully things will kick up a little bit.
Oh, Anthony! Well, a new face, a newcomer, and if you're making a restaurant, I'm sure we're gonna be good partners in food crime.
He puts his hand out to shake, and you can see that he's missing his ring finger. His hand is 1 digit short.
I go to shake.
Well, nice to meet you, young fella. And what it is exactly that you're gonna be cooking up for us? Is it gonna be some of these carrots here? Maybe some potatoes?
I mean, I definitely could use those ingredients. As far as the restaurant goes, I was planning on just a bakery, but it would seem that maybe another restaurant might be needed here.
Well, I look forward to it. How long until the grand opening?
Oh, it's looking like it's going to be a little while. There seems to be a lot of work that needs to go into the place.
My Uncle Francis's house is not what it used to be.
Oh, old Francis, yeah, it has been a little bit while since he kicked his bucket down the road, ain't it? Oh, I miss that fella. He was very lively and spry until the old missus passed away. I understand why he didn't last much longer. She seemed to be the light of his life. Well, let's not talk about such down-in-the-dumps things, especially when you got a new business opening. That sounds like such an exciting moment for you.
More exciting is that currently we need to make a dinner for a couple of guests as well. And I prefer to use the freshest and best of ingredients available.
Well, I can handle you in all sorts of eatery of the plant sorts, but I'm sorry I ain't much of a rancher. If you're gonna want some meats, you're probably gonna have to head to the grocer, 'cause I'm pretty sure Harold's already heading out for the day. He probably could have gotten you a good sweet deal on something, but he always goes early. He's got a family to tend to. Don't hold it against him.
Well, I never would, but I would need to catch up with him at another time. I'm sure having him as a connection would be very good to have.
Yep, if you're looking for the best quality locally sourced food, you can find it right here.
And before he can finish that sentence, a very expensive car rolls up. I am not, me, the DM, I am not a car person. I am just going to say it is a luxury vehicle. Probably some kind of Mercedes thing. And
Out, old douchebag car.
Yeah. Out steps a lady in a fiery red outfit. She seems to be quite old, but despite her age, she is in high heels with thick-rimmed glasses and a very professional look about her. And she walks up to Roger and you all standing there, and with a very sour face, she goes, "Roger, you know that this is after closing hours. Why have you not already packed up and left?"
Come on, Margaret. I'm just trying to make some money here. And look, we've got some fine customers here. old Gregory's sons here, Nate,
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Oh, Nicky. Yeah, look at him. Look how old he's gotten.
Margaret turns and looks at you, and now that you're seeing her face to face, you recognize this lady. She is the bank manager for the Pleasant Valley First Bank.
Ah.
Ah,
I know? It's who I would have talked to about buying. Well, you said it was my old uncle's house. We didn't go with buying an actual place then.
Yeah. But, you know, the Bessettes probably would have had a
I'm
story
sure.
past with her. You would remember that she is very stubborn. She is incredibly argumentative and combative and abrasive. And she likes to keep to
And-
herself a lot.
Do I remember if she goes by Mrs. or Miss or
Miss. She is not
Miss.
a Mrs.
All
She
right, just
she doesn't seem
don't-
to jive with really anyone.
Gotcha. I'm sure my father had a great time all the time dealing with her. Miss Margaret, a pleasure to see you again.
That's Miss Williams to you, old Nicholas Bessette. And how are you and your family doing holding on to the property and not using it?
Oh, that's changing if you've not heard yet. I plan to make great use out of all the properties, really try to reinvigorate the town now that I'm back.
Oh, is that so? And what wonderful blessings do the Bessette family have to grace us with?
Well, I have brought in my dear friend Anthony here, where he's going to start up a bakery, for one thing, and I thought I'd move my practice into town as well.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be so many people looking for expensive surgery. It's certainly going to revitalize the town, she says with the strongest eye roll you've ever seen.
I'm sure that it will.
And let me take a look at you. You must be Anthony then.
Yes, I am.
Well, it's hard to judge someone's chef capabilities by simply looking at them, but if this is where you're sourcing your food from, she gives a eye roll over to Roger, I'm sure it's going to be simply wonderful. Well, don't let me keep you. Roger, you've got 5 minutes to pack up, otherwise I'm going to have to escort you off the property again, she says as she turns on her heel and walks back to her car.
I am going to buy her out and send her to some place very nice.
Thank God she didn't decide to keep us here. That would
Well,
have been torture.
Oh,
as
Whoa.
her door slams and she backs away, Roger goes,
well, I know she comes off as pretty heavy-handed, and I am a little bit past closing time. Don't take it too rough. She's always been a little bit of a piece of sandpaper on my behind. But things have not been going well for the bank around here. What with all the foreclosings and people moving out, I'm sure she's under a lot right now.
I'm certain. Now, don't let us keep you, Roger. We can help you out with packing up. Or perhaps we can just buy everything you have and you can be on your way.
Well, that's probably more than you need to do, son, but don't let me stop you if that's what you want.
well,
Still sounds like a lot of packing up anyways.
you guys,
Yes, but she can't kick us off the property.
well, that could be loitering, so probably.
No, not if we're packing up and moving out. It's not loitering. We're actively doing things.
Well, sure.
And I don't give a fuck. I'll buy the police out from under her too if I need to.
So, you collect the vegetables from Roger that you need and you help him pack up. He, tips his hat to you and gathers up, his trailer and heads on down the road, kicking up dust from the farmer's market. Unless there's anything else you guys need for the meal, I'll, switch gears again.
You said we needed to go to the grocery as well.
Well, if you're looking for
don't
meat.
pick
It'll
up
stop
some-
us from,
Yeah, just
Switching
picking
back
up
over.
meats.
Mhm.
But we can enhance the flavor of this lower quality meat with,
I mean-
with these amazing vegetables.
I'm sure I have some stuff at the house we can use as well.
Yeah. I won't say that your refrigerator is empty there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am a bit worried with how ground down the town has become. Seems like it's going to be quite a bit more work than I originally thought to try to keep this place going.
Oh, back at the church, Andrew pulls out a couple of, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the metal tracks that you can put up onto your truck to help lower things to the ground. And
Oh yeah, those thingies, the lower goody thingies, yeah.
and he rolls out an old dolly and tries to climb up, and you can see him hobbling as he goes up the little ramp to the back of the truck. Well, let's see if I can do this. The kind young man at the railway couldn't really join us all the way here, but let's see if we can get this out.
Father, is it really the best idea that you should be doing this? I know that surely I could take over for this.
Well, I'm not gonna stop you because you're probably right there, youngster. It's probably not my place to be lifting this up, but let's see if you can handle it. I'll just direct you down.
Yes.
Give me a strength and athletics check at difficulty 7.
Okay. Strength, athletics.
Mm-hmm.
DC 6 or
7.
7. Okay.
Difficult.
Okay. Oh.
What?
Wait,
All right.
is that accurate?
Let's see.
You
1,
only-
2. No,
Why
You
is
only
that
rolled
not
one
working?
die.
you rolled a die.
That's
Hey, you
weird.
got a
Maybe
success
I
though.
roll it, yeah, I mean, I got a success, but that's not accurate. Oh my god.
There you go.
Okay, is that accurate?
All right. So with your strength and athletics, you get 4 successes. You can rock the box a little bit back and forth. You get the dolly under it, and as you lift up, you keep it on track. Andrew directs you to the back, and it comes right down, no problem. Despite the horrible shocks on his truck, if he has them at all, it seems to go perfectly fine.
Well, I am impressed. You are quite handy.
Yes, of course. I like to be helpful, is all.
Well, I can see you're, well, maybe not silent, but certainly a strong type.
And he pats you on the back as you're holding up this heavy washing machine.
Oh, sorry. My gregarious nature got the best of me.
Oh, yes, of course, gregarious.
Well, let's take this around back. There's an entry to the kitchen there. And he shows you a little beaten up sidewalk that leads to the side of the house. The same side that gazebo and fountain are on. And as you're wheeling the washing machine by, you kind of get this gentle, relaxing feeling of being around the fountain. It's barely trickling water right now. It's probably got a gunked up system like the rest of this church. And you can see what appears to be a small monument to a previous priest that had lived there. Also, sort of getting covered in weeds and vines.
I see.
And
Um,
otherwise, uneventful. With your strength and prowess in athletics, you are able to wheel this monstrous washing machine into the kitchen where you can plop it down.
oh, okay. Is this a good location for it, or do you need it moved around anymore, Father?
Well, for right now, I think we're gonna have to leave that right there. because I have no idea how I'm gonna hook this thing up. We're probably gonna have to uninstall the sink or move something around because this is a heavy-duty piece of machinery. So,
Well,
let's just leave it here and go get ourselves some dinner. I think you earned it.
yeah, I do believe I have.
That's the spirit. Stick up for yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
He locks up the door, the side door to the kitchen again, and takes you back out to the car and head on over to the Bessette estate. Now, I am assuming you don't live in the same place where you do your practice, or is that where you also live?
No, I don't think I'd have the practice at the actual estate there. I'd have it probably. I assume the Bessette estate is decently sized, though. You never really went
Mhm.
over, since it's a small town, how it would be. But no, I wasn't going to have the practice in the house itself. Mostly because, it's still my father's.
Yeah. Well, I would say, considering the circumstances, it probably would be a farmhouse that has been renovated and added on, and probably out of most houses, let alone the residences in the area, most modern out of all of them, due to all the renovations that your family has been able to keep up with. And certainly large enough to host several guests at the same time. The kitchen may not be of professional quality, but certainly large and serviceable enough for Anthony to do his work. Now, Father Andrew arrives with Gemma, and let's see. Anthony, do you want to give me a dexterity crafts check and tell me how fancy of a meal you want to make, so I can determine the difficulty?
Well, I mean, considering they were just going to be going to McDonald's, let's not go too crazy here. Let's do just a very nice roast chicken dinner with potatoes and carrots, salad, and a nice fresh apple pie.
All right, I'm gonna do this like fast food grade. Then above that would be fast casual. Then we would have like Olive Garden level. Then we have like the Cheesecake Factory level. I would put a little bit above that. And then we go to fine dining and then world dining. Which of those would you say it's at?
I'd rather go with the fine dining.
Fine dining. Okay. Give me the dexterity crafts check at a difficulty 8 then for fine dining.
Okay.
8.
Do I get my specialty?
Yes, you do get your specialty bonus.
So it's 2 DP mod 2 or
I believe so, yes.
we will find out. Difficulty 8 and rolling.
All right. The meal comes together acceptably. The chicken is cooked to a great degree. It's not burnt, it's not underdone, but there's definitely some things that you were held back by not having all of the professional equipment yet. Obviously you guys are going to be ordering that stuff in for the bakery and whatnot, but at least with what you had, you made pretty much what you intended to make. And
I'm satisfied with this.
all right. You guys sit down to a lovely dinner hosted by Nicholas.
Well, it's been a while since I've had something this nice. How about you, Gemma?
Oh, yes, I believe this is quite pleasant. By looking at it, it looks similar to the food I would have back at back home. Hopefully it's as good as it tastes. I mean, looks. I mean, what? I mean, I'm just gonna shut myself up by just jamming something in my mouth now.
And where would that be, if you don't mind me asking? If you were shipped into a little place like this, where where did you come from?
Oh, I'm just from a few towns over, is all. It's not too far from here. You know, it's just a small town. So it's similar to this town, just not as.
As
Yes.
derelict, as out of
Well,
sorts as our town is.
I don't think
Well,
Linsdale
not-
is as small as our town, especially not over the past few years. But it's probably considered a city by now, right?
I always imagined it as a small town, but perhaps you're right. I guess the thing
I can
is,
understand the feeling. When I went off to university, it was quite a shock of what is considered big and small outside of Pleasant Valley.
I see.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
the
you
only
would-
way you could get smaller than Pleasant Valley right now is if you just walked out in the woods and pitched a tent.
Yes, I don't think you're far off from that.
Speaking of which, it is a lovely time of the year for that. I was thinking about closing up the church for a couple weeks and going on vacation. I now have a helper here, so I'm not gonna just ditch you right away, but it would be nice to have a little bit of time off after so long.
Oh,
Sounds like a wonderful idea, Father. Please, let me know if you need any help with equipment so you can enjoy your vacation for as long as possible.
Oh, that would be wonderful, Nicholas! I could use a lot of hand with that. The only thing that's got me a little bit preoccupied about it is that I heard stories, rumors about things going on in the woods. Oh, spooky tales indeed. Though I'm sure it's just the kids coming up with crazy tales. Or maybe mishearing a bobcat out in the woods. You know how they are.
Events in the woods?
Oh, yes! Oh, every hunting season we always hear a tale or two of someone going out there and seeing spooky things. Sometimes it's a yell in the night. Sometimes they see a figure dancing in the woods. Oh, I'm sure it's just practical jokers, but I gotta admit, I'm a little bit scared myself sometimes. Oh, don't let me darken the mood here. It's nothing serious, guys. Come on.
Oh,
mean,
right, yeah.
None of these people have been attacked by anything that was in the woods.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, of course, there are bobcats out there they have to worry about.
Well, I mean, other than the bobcats and bears.
Right. No. I'm sure someone's been bit by a snake once or twice, but it's probably just their minds playing tricks on them, especially if you haven't been in the woods long. You know, a deer can scream in a way that sounds very, very familiar to a human, so I bet they're just not used to it.
I'm sorry. What?
No! You've never heard wild animals bellow in the night? When it echoes through the trees, sometimes your mind can hear something else, but when you get close to it, it's way different. I'm sure that's all it was.
Yes. Yes, I suppose you're right, Father.
Alright, well, have you ever been hunting, Gemma? The good Lord filled this planet with so many wonderful plants and animals that we have to tend to, and occasionally that means calling the numbers. It's an important responsibility. I might have to teach you a thing or two.
Oh, well, I have never taken a life by my own hands. Well, perhaps I've killed a few bugs on accident.
It's similar to that, but a little bit stronger, I'd say. What about you, Nicky boy? Did old Gregory ever take you out hunting?
He attempted to once or twice, but it never was my forte.
And what about you,
I'm much
Anthony?
more into saving lives than taking them.
Ah, yes, that does seem to run in your blood, doesn't it? And what about
Yes.
you, Anthony? Have you ever gone out hunting before? Traipsed around in the woods with a gun loaded, looking for something to strike down?
Been taken on hunting, yes. Actually attempted to shoot something, no, that's not me at all. But there are a lot of different things you can find in the woods. Good for cooking. The freshest meat I think I've helped procure would be fishing.
Ah, yes, I gotta admit, a good fresh fish is one of the most delicacies I've ever enjoyed in my life. I remember. Oh, sorry, before I get back into that, I should probably eat before this gets cold. And Andrew
Yes,
begins
please.
to stuff himself.
Again.
Well,
And he finds it so good he never talks again.
no.
We can only wish.
I will say that the food is quite lovely.
It is probably, I don't know your breadth of experience with food, but knowing how good of a cook Anthony is, it may be one of the best meals you've ever had, despite being cooked out of a house with limited resources.
Well, that sounds like I'm right then. It is a good meal.
Well, with that, is there anything else you guys wish to talk about or discuss before retiring?
I don't know. Is there something that anyone wants to discuss?
Hmm?
Oh, you have to excuse me. I need to find the restroom. Nicholas, could you point me in the direction?
Of course, it's just down the hallway, second left, and then the third right.
Oh, alright. If I don't make it back in an hour, please tell the church I've passed away lost in the Bessette estate.
Father, I assure you, you'll probably be fine. Probably.
As he leaves away,
Almost
I'm merely
certainly.
joking! You gotta not take me so seriously, Gemma.
Well, please, feel free to enjoy the meal now that you can.
Now that I can, I was enjoying it just fine earlier.
I'm glad you have taken so well to the father. He's a bit much for some people.
I see. Although, I think he's fine. Just eccentric, I suppose. Still, it's hard for me to take issue with another member of the cloth.
He does seem to have a rather interesting personality.
I would definitely count it as interesting, yes. I notice you two seem quiet.
I'm just enjoying it while I can.
Anything else on your mind? And as she says this, she kind of just shoots a look at these two.
A look?
A look.
A look.
A weary look. A cautious look. Like a kind of look.
Is there something bothering you? I hope everything is up to your tastes.
Oh, yes, everything is quite lovely, and thank you for inviting me into your home. However, I really should be asking you that. Are you okay?
Just a little worried about the town. It is fairly dear to me, and it seems to be doing rather poorly more so than I remember.
I understand that concern. There are places in your town that disturb me.
Oh? Yes, I suppose the house was rather full of bugs. Rather full.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy like that.
Sure is rather full.
You did seem rather worried about the place. There's not some sort of haunting or anything going on, is there?
Perhaps.
I don't believe Uncle Francis died too terribly or anything. He just passed away in his sleep. Though I wouldn't know what it takes to cause the haunting.
For your
As
sake, I certainly hope it's not your Uncle Francis.
What is going on there?
When you step in there, does it feel unnaturally dark to you?
A little bit, but like none of the lights work or anything.
True, but you know how a room usually is if the lights don't work? I mean, the church I grew up in always had faulty wiring, but that house feels different, doesn't it?
I guess.
I'll be frank. I am considering paying that house a visit tonight.
oh,
Yes, I'd like to take a look around. And I hope you don't mind a sister of the cloth poking around your property.
I look over at Anthony. I don't believe we have any plans, I suppose, for tonight. We could escort you over there if you'd like. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you'd do anything untoward, but I'd also rather not get Father Andrew on me for having anything happen to you if, say, the floor fell in or something. I don't believe he'd let me live it down if his new helper was injured on one of my properties.
I see. I suppose I'd have to expect you would come along. Internally, I'm just like, ugh, I know that whatever this is, it doesn't seem to like having other people around. So this is a wrench in the plan. But
You know what they say, safety in numbers.
I think we have some flashlights or a lamp or something we can bring as well, rather than just having to use our phone lights.
Yes, phone lights, of course. That. Do you have a flashlight I can spare? I mean, you can spare. I need a light.
Of course, where the house is fully equipped for power outages and the like. And my father didn't like to just use candles all the time. He's worried about fires in such a small town. When, as a coal worker, they're kind of a hazard that people have learned to work around.
Understandably so.
You can hear the heavy footsteps of Father Andrew walking back down the hallway. Oh, if you can hear me, which direction do I go? I've lost myself.
Over this way, Father.
Oh, right away, old Nicky boy! And the footsteps get closer. Oh, such a spacious home that you have here. So lovely, too. It's well kept. You do a good job, Nick. I'm sure the new bakery will be wonderful. And Anthony, oh, this dinner was wonderful. If it's any indication of your skills as a chef, I will be eating at your establishment every day.
Well, I definitely welcome that, and I hope you saved room for dessert.
Well, I certainly could make a little bit of space here for something. Let's see what you've got.
I had not expected dessert. What may that be?
We got some very good fresh apples from the farmer's market, so I had to make an apple pie.
Oh, you are going to weasel your way into my heart, young man. You know how to get straight there. And
then I'll bring the pie out.
yes, and he will greedily eat it. Oh, this is so wonderful. I have not had such a... so good. Anthony.
Oh,
Father,
Lord.
must I remind you that gluttony is a sin after all?
One that can be forgiven. But yes, we cannot indulge ourselves too much. You are going to be quite the tempter, Anthony. I'll have to make sure the devil is not in your food, because I'm beginning the feeling that you have put some magic in this.
If only it was that easy.
Come now, Father.
Gimma, there's one thing that you're gonna have to work on, and that's lightening up. Come on! The Lord wants you to be happy, and it shouldn't get in between you and the path to heaven. But let's not overstay our welcome either. Nicholas, you have been quite a great host. Anthony, a wonderful chef. I love talking to you guys, and let's not make this a too short of a meeting between us. We should meet up again once more.
I'm sure you will have plenty of time once the restaurant or bakery gets open to try all the wonderful goods Anthony will make.
I must agree with Father Andrew. Surely we should meet again very soon.
Oh, let's make our way out. I'll see myself to the door, and I will see you guys hopefully next Sunday. And gives a wink and then walks out. Well. If you had not said anything earlier today, Gemma, I might not have run into old Nicky boy, met his new friend, and had myself one of the best meals I've had in my life. I can tell that the Lord is blessing you.
I suppose he is. I guess he has shown me the next step in my path, and it involves these people.
Right. And he roars up his old clunker again. The drive from the Bessette estate isn't too long. If you were to make it by foot, perhaps no more than 20 minutes or so. But it's a short 5-minute drive, and he pulls back up to the church and drops you off. Well, I am going to head over to my house. It's not too far from here. I know you've seen your way to your room, and I will give you your privacy. Is there anything else you need from me before I retire for the night, child?
I only need you to have a blessed night, Father. That is all.
Well, thank you very much. There is my old rotary phone that's in the office. I know that it's an ancient relic. Do you know how to work one?
I believe I can figure it out, yes. Although I admit I've never really operated a phone much.
Well, all you have to do is put your finger in the little hole and then turn it to the number that it needs to dial. And here. And he pulls open the glove compartment, pulls out a piece of paper and a little grease pen that he had sitting in there, and he writes his home phone number on it. And if you need to call me, I'm over in the Shady Grove neighborhood. And just give me a call and I'll be right over. Otherwise, I will see you in the morning when I come and take a look and see how you're doing. Maybe get ourselves some breakfast at the old McDonald's.
Yes, Father. I will see you in the morning.
And with a roar and a cloud of smoke, the truck heads down the road, and you see the headlights make a turn and disappear into the night.
With him gone, I am not even going to enter the church right now. I am making a beeline towards my destination. I have something I need to settle.
All right.
Back in. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not too far away. You don't have to memorize a complicated route to the house. You make your way over there. In addition to that, you kind of feel drawn to it too, confirming your intuition on which way to go. Anthony and Nicholas. You also make your
Yes.
way there?
I mean,
Yeah.
better than doing the dishes right now.
I assume in Nicholas's vehicle.
Almost certainly.
Yes. All right. Well, you guys.
Bring some supplies, lights and stuff this time.
You all arrive just moments before Gemma shows up at the doorstep. The house is blanketed in the darkness of night, but inside the impenetrable blackness seems to be completely immune to the shade of the gloom of the moon.
Well, I'm glad to see that you two have shown up.
Generally try to do as I say. By the way, I hand her a old flashlight as you requested.
Thank you. I hope this will be helpful for what lies within.
It will certainly be helpful with the dark.
Well, yes. Anyway, I suppose we should go ahead and enter.
All right, I'll unlock the door again and turn on my own light.
All right, you guys step into the house, and that familiar smell from before seems to have festered once more. It didn't take long for the aromas to return, and the critters, the sounds of the insects, in the quiet of the night can actually be heard. Little flutterings here and there. Maybe the sound of the roaches scurrying across the floor. Despite not being able to see them, you can hear them.
With this smell, are you sure there's not something festering in here?
I'm sure there's all sorts of mold and dead insects and the like. But I'm not sure what you mean by festering. Are you implying that there's some sort of disease or something?
I just know that pests are drawn to death, is all. If you don't mind me, I have a feeling I must check out your basement.
Oh,
Good day.
it's right over that way.
Yep. Immediately, Gemma just turns on her heels and makes a beeline for the basement, clicking on the flashlight as she does.
All right. The light pierces the darkness, and you can see down the steps The creatures that are scurrying and scuttling about try to run away from the light as best they can, sneaking behind every crevice and under blankets to avoid touching the blinding light. The steps creak with ferocity with each step you make down it, feeling a little bow and bend as you take each step down. But it holds your weight.
I do believe she thinks this place is haunted, Anthony.
Either that or she's really interested in that furniture down there.
Oh, let's not let the lady go alone.
As I descend, I'm feeling a bit nervous, to say the least, and I kind of just mutter under my breath. Though I walk through the valley of death, I shall know no fear, and that is until I assume these two just sneak up behind me.
I mean, probably not sneak.
Definitely not sneaking.
Not in a house where every step creaks.
Yeah. Well, the first step of theirs that I hear creak behind me, I am going to whip around and just blind them with this flashlight.
The light does hit your face. Make a dexterity.
Oh God.
And yeah, let's do dexterity alertness check, both Anthony and Nicholas. Put that on difficulty 6.
Alright, dexterity awareness, you said?
Alertness. Dexterity alertness. To see if you catch yourself after being blinded as you go down the steps.
While they're rolling this, I want to point out there is a joke in my local Pathfinder group that every time that I have something that can blind people, I will blind people. And apparently it is coming back here as well.
Alright. Despite the light in your face, you're able to take comfortable steps down. You don't lose your footing, and you can descend the staircase at your leisure.
Flash blindness is a problem, young lady.
I apologize. I just didn't expect you to come down here with me. And with those last few words, she's just gritting her teeth a little bit.
I don't think a
will
ghost would
note
have
your
heavy steps.
opinion of our character.
No, don't get me wrong. I believe you are fine, wonderful people, truly blessed children of our Lord. But do you have to come down here with me?
It is my house.
Yeah,
I'm not going to let you venture into the rat, spider, roach, lice-infested basement on your own. Even if it's not haunted.
I mean, that's just a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Fine. Let us go.
Well, you traipse around the basement, looking and listening for any signs of disturbances. Anthony and Nicholas kind of sitting at your wings, waiting to see what you respond to. But after a few moments, the only thing that you've noticed is that there's a little stairway that leads to a crawlspace door, and it seems cold near it.
It's cold here.
It is a basement.
No, I mean like earlier. I felt a deathly chill. Do you know where this crawl space goes?
I assume to the foundations of the house.
That's where crawl spaces tend to go.
I'm not aware of any sort of secret laboratories under this particular house.
What do you mean by this house?
That's a normal thing for the Bessettes. They just do that. Doesn't everyone have underground laboratories?
It's how you keep your specimens cool at a cost.
Ooh, well,
Well,
Can I-
Anthony, you want to help me get this opened for the young lady?
Oh, yes,
Sure.
please do. You do that, and I'm going to take a step back, and while they're busy with that I'm going to pull out my book and open it, and yeah, do my thing. I'm doing my thing.
Do let us know if we're about to have our souls eaten or something.
So you're gonna do the same thing you did before?
Yes, and I'm hoping that since they're not looking at me and probably not paying me too much mind, I my hope is they think I'm just going to be taking out a Bible and just Bible stuff. But
Yeah. Again, it's the sensory magic is purely inside your head. So even if you were trying to hide it from them, the only thing, unless you're trying to also give them the ability to sense it, that would
heck
be
no, heck
yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
Oh,
That's
the
a little
most
different.
we'd be able to see is that you're not holding a Bible specifically.
Yeah. So
Fair.
it would be the same roll if you're doing the same thing. Roll your arete on a difficulty 4.
Arete, difficulty 4. Let's go.
Very
wow.
successful. You guys have had some pretty good rolls. But yes,
We are very magic,
you're
apparently.
you are magical people. Good
Very
job.
wizard.
But yes, the same effect happens where the vanilla color of the paper fades to a transparency and you can see through the book. In this basement, even where the lights are shining, it's still black. But you can see behind the door, there's like, if what you were describing before was a blackness, this is like a black hole. It is suffocatingly dark. It seems to just pull light into it and not release it. You can't visibly see a difference between the darkness of the room you're standing in and what must be behind this door, but the sense, the spirit of it, you can tell is just draining the light out of the area.
Well, that does not bode well at all.
And to you guys, you see young Gemma standing there with a book in front of her as she just looks through it towards the door.
Would it be perception, alertness, or awareness to see what the book was? Not.
Yeah, I would say perception, awareness, being aware of what the book is, because I think alertness would be to see if she has a book in her hand, but awareness would be to know what it is.
Not specifically looking, but I have a decent perception check, so I want to notice the book.
At least to know whether it's a Bible or not.
And what was the difficulty you said?
The difficulty for this, you're in the dark, and she's
With
probably moving
lights.
it around. If you shine the light on the book, I would say that's probably just a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Alright. Nope.
Okay.
I canceled out my successes with ones, so
Yep.
it's just a book.
Yeah.
You turn to look, you see that she's holding a book, and it could be a Bible.
Reading Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't think anything of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So?
Did we get the door open?
The door is a little bit stubborn. You're going to have to give me a strength athletics check.
And
for
how does that work as a combined thing? You were helping me, right, Anthony?
Oh yeah,
Crusader?
no, I'm providing tons of assistance here with my 0 athletics and my strength of 1. You got this, buddy.
Yeah, the way it would work is he rolls all the same, and if he gives you a success, then you add it to your total pools of success for it. If he gives you a botch,
Yeah.
then it adds to your botch.
Fun time.
No.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
the
helping.
difficulty?
Huh?
What's the difficulty?
For opening this door, it's going to be an 8.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, okay then.
Because trying to open it, it just seems to not move at all.
Yep. I'm not getting that open. Hey, you got 1 success? You got
Alright.
1 success!
Oh my god.
All right.
I'm giving you a success. I am helping.
You are the success!
You and Anthony and Nicholas are grabbing the door. You tried to move the little. There's like a little knob that's probably holding it closed, but no matter how much you twist it, you can't seem to turn it. Maybe it's rusted shut, or maybe something got stuck there. It doesn't seem to have a latch or a lock or anything. It just seems to be immovable at the moment. You can also tell by touching it, it's metal and it's very cold to the touch. But when Anthony pulls, he pulls back on the door and it sort of bends. But as it bends, a mess of centipedes and millipedes and flying winged June bugs and stuff come pouring out of the gap, and you lose your grip.
Yeah, no.
Oh
Yeah.
god,
Okay.
that's
No,
horrifying.
no. Oh, they're all over me.
Oh,
God, I feel them crawling everywhere.
I'll brush myself off.
Mhm.
Oh, it's fine, Anthony. They're just insects. Although,
Oh, that
do
is
be
so
careful
God,
of
that
the,
feeling.
the
Yeah, but it's
centipedes.
just the feeling all over you.
They can be poisonous.
What? How poisonous are the bugs here?
Nothing that I can't handle. Probably.
You're saying your clinic just stocks anti-venom?
I mean, I'm saying that you probably aren't going to get poisoned so badly that we can't take you to somewhere to help.
Okay, that part's fair. Okay. It doesn't make it feel any better.
I'll help Anthony brush himself off.
Mm-hmm. The various
I'll take off my doctor's jacket as well and like shake it out.
the various insects that crawled on Anthony's hands splatter to the floor and then scatter out, seeking refuge in the dark recesses of the basement.
Well, that door seems both blocked and barricaded from the other side by insects. I don't know how there are so many of them, though.
blocked. Well, what do you mean by blocked?
Rusted shut?
I mean,
This
was just
The
trying to use
doorknob
our
doesn't
hands.
move, and as you saw, the mere bending of a corner released, I'd say
Dozens.
100 insects?
Yeah.
I stand back. I need to get this open.
There's more ways to get a door open, and from my jacket, I'll pull out a cleaver.
You're not
Um,
cleaver my door, Anthony.
no,
I mean-
please do cleaver the door.
It can be fixed. I mean, most of everything here has to be replaced anyways.
I suppose that's true, but don't you use that to cook with?
No,
don't.
cleaning supplies are very strong, okay?
Have at you.
I would actually like to use entropy sight.
Okay.
To look for weaknesses.
Yep. Just entropy sight would be a difficulty 4, and your arete.
Okay.
Are we getting paradox for any of this?
Usually for sensory effects like this, it would be very unlikely. The only
All right,
time
you
you
said
would
it
get...
was coincidental, but I didn't know specifically if that's something we also need to be rolling for.
No. The only time you have to worry about paradox is when you do a vulgar spell, or if you botch a coincidental one. Or, I mean, you
Gotcha.
could, if you botch a vulgar one, it's even more paradox, so.
Oh, of course.
Yep, so you take a moment and focus with your cleaver in the same way you do when you're breaking down food. And it kind of lets you see these weak points in the door. Where the latches seems incredibly strong, but actually where the hinges are not as strong as where the latch is. You could probably take a couple of swipes there and break down the hinges and let the door fall free that way.
I am going to take several steps back if he starts doing that.
I start doing that. Let's go at the hinges.
All right.
Oh, okay.
And
There's going to be so many insects.
In that
I say
case,
that out loud.
Yeah. In that case, then let's do a dexterity. Oh, let's see. You are chopping, then melee. Dexterity melee.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, I'm going to start tucking my pants into my socks.
What's wrong, Nicholas? There's nothing to be afraid of, right? It's just some bugs.
Exactly. And I don't want them crawling up my leg. What is Gemma wearing?
What do you think a nun would be wearing?
A habit, probably.
Yes. I kind of wish I was wearing pants right now.
Oh, what's the difficulty? 6?
Since you did the entropy site, I'm gonna say it is only a 5.
Ooh.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh.
And
1.
the cleaver breaks. And no, you got one.
Okay, this is a success.
Okay.
So the cleaver chops into the door. With the first strike, you can see the tip of it pierces in, and the wood of this crawl space door kind of bends more than it breaks. It seems like it's not watery. Maybe it was just the humidity in the air, but it's like the wood is still not entirely dry. But you can kind of wedge it back out, and you strike again, and strike again. And eventually, you are able to basically chisel away this one hinge with about 4 or 5 strikes. But as the last one goes in, the door kind of peels back with the weight that's on the other side. And you can see as it pulls forward that there's just a caked layer of bugs crawling on it. And as they fall through on the other side and start crawling up the side of the wall, the weight of it alleviates somewhat and it bends back, although not all the way. And yes, the room is now, you can hear the sound of skittering little bugs and the flapping of wings around you.
God, it's disgusting. I hate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did this out of a little bit of anger earlier. I am now regretting this.
But as the bugs sort of settle, you notice something even stranger now. With your lights pointed at the door and the bugs having cleared off of it, you now see the bugs of the room trying to make their way to the door and crawl back into it.
Oh,
You
okay.
see lines of millipedes coming down from the top of the basement and crawl into it. Anytime you shine your light on them, though, they try to retreat back. But in the moments where there's no light on the door, the bugs creep their way back inside.
I'm beginning to reconsider your theory on this house being haunted.
So you brought holy water with you, right?
Actually, yes, I do. After all, of course I would. Why would I not?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what you're supposed to use to get rid of evil spirits, right?
Yeah, dude, that's what I use it for.
You presumably still have the book open, right?
I most certainly do have this book open.
All right. Now that several of the bugs have made their way back through, you can see that same black hole of darkness kind of sucking the light out of the area. There's like tendrils of it that are now sweeping forward from the back of this crawl space. You can't identify how large this room is based off of it, but you can tell something is moving closer to the door. And Anthony, with your entropy sight, you can tell that something is about to happen that will give you guys a bit of a scare. But that's about all you can reason.
I believe something approaches.
Something not
maybe
pleasant.
Step away. Step away. Let's just step
Oh.
away for a second.
Something wicked this way comes, does it?
Yes.
Yes.
I glance over at Anthony when he says that. Is it something we should be particularly concerned of? With a knowing look?
It's not something we're going to like. That's all I know.
I know I do not like it.
As
Whatever.
you sense it growing closer, you now become aware that each of you can see your own breath. The coldness has now crept out of the crawl space, and it's now bearing on you. The cold air is so chilling that you can see your own breath.
Okay.
You know, I have heard tales of hauntings and things like that, but I don't know. Do you either of you two believe in hauntings now?
I'd like to keep an open mind, but
I believe in many things.
how cold are we getting? Is it just seeing our breath? Are we starting to like hit hypothermia?
No,
Am I gonna
you-
have to actually step in and do things?
No, it's like being outside on like a late fall evening where you can see your breath, but it's not so chilling that maybe, water would
Okay.
freeze or something
Alright.
next to you.
Alright, then I'm not gonna need to try to do anything particularly yet. I'm not well equipped for ghosts, but the cold is something I could maybe do something about.
I'm going to go ahead and draw from my satchel my my thermos of holy water.
Nice.
Okay. And what do you do with the book while you're doing that?
Oh, that's a good point. I can't open the thermos without I'm going to put the book like under my chin as I like hurriedly try to open the thermos. Because I don't want to close it right now.
You know, if you need an extra hand, you've got other people.
No,
here.
I'm fine. I got this probably.
I'm
gonna keep my light on trying to keep as many insects out of that door as possible. Just in case, that's gonna be important.
In that case, then, could you specifically, Nicholas, give me a perception alertness check?
Gotcha. Let's see.
With difficulty 6.
Alertness? call this action Away Bugs. Difficulty 6. I got a 2.
All right. As Gemma fiddles around with her satchel and Anthony seems to be looking at her, you hold your flashlight on the door, and the bugs try to skirt around it, but they're not able to get inside. However, while holding it there, you do see a small puff of cold air come out, almost like your breath, but from the door.
That's ominous. I'm going to, for the first time, try to activate my own senses. I'm certain that this is probably more supernatural than life-based, but just in case there's, like, I don't know, an invisible monster inside there, I'm going to try to see if I can sense any sort of minds in there. I figure insects wouldn't do... Life wouldn't work on ghosts. Insects wouldn't have much of a mind, so I think mind might be my best chance.
Alright, so you're going to sense minds in there?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well then give me Arete at difficulty 4.
Arete. Difficulty 4. And I get 2 successes.
Alright. What was your focus for that, by the way?
It was the clipboard that I keep with me.
Okay. Can you explain... I know with her book and with his knife, basically, they're like mental state while they're using it. What do you do with your clipboard to bring about understanding their mind?
This is kind of a sense thing?
Yeah.
I didn't have anything specifically for that. Usually I would ask people questions and the like. So I'd probably speak out. Is there anybody in there?
All right. Then, as you hold on to the clipboard, you become attuned to the minds around you. Gemma and Anthony's are most notable. Just some surface fuzziness there. You can tell that they have active thoughts going on, but it's very difficult to read if they have a specific emotional state right now or anything like that. You can just tell that there is rumbling of thoughts and activity sort of blinking around in their heads. On the other side of this wall, you can sense that there is something there, but a mind might not be the best way to word it. There is some sort of cognitive activity going on, but it's nothing like Gemma or Anthony next to you.
So it's not exactly a human mind, but it's more than an insect mind?
Correct.
Okay. But do I sense any sort of like hostility coming from it? What's the biggest impression I get from it?
From
Just the vague, not anything specific, just like the biggest impression I get from the mind.
Nothing. It's simply you with this level of attunement to the minds around you. You can't pick up anything specific off of it as far as intention or emotion. You just know that there's kind of something there. Do you have 2 dots in mind?
Yes, I've got 2 dots in mind.
If you want to try to read something about the mind, we can try to bump this up to a higher level than just basic sensory perception.
Okay. I wasn't sure how the sensor... I knew the life let me see like relative strengths and stuff like that, and I could tell. I didn't know if the mind would give me like impressions of like other than, I guess you said, complexity.
Yeah.
Is about the only thing I get from that. Yeah, I can try bumping that up.
All right, then let's do another roll. This one's going to be difficulty 5 with your Arete. Okay. And you're basically going to try to get a stronger sense out of the mind. And we're going to specify
about
that you're doing this on the entity thing behind the door.
Yeah, the one mind I sense specifically.
Yes.
And I guess we can go with some Phasmo rules then. Like, I've already asked, where are you? But like, what was that?
Are you
Isn't
French?
there one that's like, how angry are you? Or
Yeah. Are you friendly?
Yeah, are you friendly? And looks like I got the one success.
Right. So you sense as you pull out your clipboard and you kind of go through your routine of checking on.
Yeah, no, go on.
Your routine of checking on a patient, and you try to apply it to this thing that's on the other side. You can get a little bit of clarity. It's like you focused in on it, and your perceptions of Genna and Anthony's mind kind of go to the wayside. And this thing, it has great sorrow. It doesn't seem to be as focused. It's not like a when you've looked at other minds like this, you can kind of see a pattern of neural activity, kind of, if that was the most scientific way of putting it. But with this one, you can tell that it is a sullen, miserable emotional state. But instead of it being in this one connected pattern of a brain, it's kind of just scattered about. And it doesn't even seem to be holding the shape of a mind that you would normally have. It's just kind of bouncing around, but it is distinctly sad.
All right, I want to do a bit of an experiment, if you two of you don't mind. I know I'm taking up a lot of the time here for a moment.
Experiment?
Yeah, I wanted to let some more of the bugs in and see if the feeling grew. I've been keeping them out. I just mean out of character. Out of character.
Sure,
You
Just
don't
go
mind me.
Just go
doing
ahead.
I've got
stuff
nothing
again.
else to do
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, you do you.
Yeah. Okay. I want to let some of the bugs in and see if it gets stronger or anything like that. If I get more of a feeling like it might be like a collective, intelligence sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I assume you then point the light away then?
Yeah.
Okay. The bugs, without seeing them, you can assume that they've started crawling back in, and even some of them that were fluttering and flittering about you guys, they land near the door and they crawl back inside. The thing seems to sort of move away from the door, but it's not easy. It's not it doesn't seem to alleviate that sorrow at all. If anything,
is it moving away from the bugs?
No. Well, it's moving away from the door. It's
Okay.
sort of receded back a little bit, and as the bugs go into the door, it retreats away from it. But you can tell that the mind that it holds, this scattering of thoughts, seems to be thrashing back behind the door. Some of it spilling around it and then collecting back together and then spilling apart and then coming back together. But if anything, it's grown more sorrowful.
As the bugs get in, it gets sadder.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to not letting the bugs in if possible.
All right.
Well, that was certainly interesting. I believe you are correct, Gemma. There's certainly something in there. And
We need to get it out.
it certainly doesn't seem to want more bugs to go in. Hard to explain.
Well, what?
Well, why don't you try doing what you were doing?
what I was doing. Oh, right, holy water. I want to expertly flick some water in through the crack, in through the opening, onto it, if I can.
All right. Is there going to be any magical effect with this, or is it going to be your holy water alone? Like, is this as part of a casting that you're doing?
This isn't part of a cast. I mean, like, I have faith. I have faith that holy water is enough to deal with a ghost or a demon. So, yeah, it's just holy water.
But you believe, per your faith, that it can deal with ghosts and demons.
Correct, yes.
So you believe that if it is a ghost or demon, there should be some effect.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Could you please roll your arete at a difficulty 5?
Okay. Alright. Let's go. Ooh, 2 successes. Let's go.
Alright, so you take a step forward and you flick the water back in there. And the cold air that had been rushing out suddenly floods out of it. It gets so cold in there, it sends a shiver down all of your spines. I'm going to need you guys to do a stamina.
Where do I roll?
Stamina is under physical. It's gonna be stamina. Just stamina. Just roll stamina.
Attribute stamina.
Yeah, at a difficulty 6.
Let's see. I don't really have anything that would really go with that. So just a stand roll.
Oh, how about survival? Sorry. Stamina survival at difficulty 6.
Yep. Same thing. So don't worry.
Difficulty 6. Let's go. Hey, that's a success.
Also, how did you guys get your pictures in there, by the way? I could not figure out how to get it off of this weird symbol thing.
Underneath the text bubble, you can do roll as, and you can select your character down there instead. I don't know about them, but...
awesome.
You probably also need to set that as your
cool.
profile picture on Roll20.
Yeah, that's what I did.
There we go. It was weird having just the triangle block thing when everyone else had characters.
Yeah, I get that.
The game just does not want you guys to botch a single roll on session 1, I see.
Apparently not.
How are we doing?
With 1 success, you all at most get a shiver, like maybe a little shake, but otherwise you're not so shaken up by it that anything particularly nasty happens. But you definitely can tell the room has reached severely cold temperatures suddenly after that act.
It definitely did not like that. So I am going to continue doing that while saying,
did it get,
"Be gone from this house, demon!"
Did it get more sad or angry or anything? I assume I still have a sense of that, don't I?
Yes. If anything, it's still pretty sad, but now you're getting hints of confusion in there.
But not like pain or anger yet.
Yeah, not pain or anger. It's confused.
Gotcha. Well, then I'm not going to step in quite yet. Because I'm also confused, so who knows?
Splash, splash. Splashity, splashity.
You continue to splash the water in there, and the bugs now lose their direction. Whereas before they were of a single mind of sort of going into this behind this door, they're now just kind of going in circles. Some of them are going in the door, but some of them are coming out, and the ones around you are no longer fluttering about with purpose. They just seem to be moving and going back to hiding if they can.
Like a bug would.
Like a
Okay.
bug would. As they do.
As the bugs do. Does it seem I mean, I take that as a sign that this is working. Whatever I'm doing, it's working.
Yep. You
Yeah.
can. If you want to. If that's what you think.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's progress, so yeah? Yeah. What about
Yeah,
you
if it's
two?
working, then yeah, it's good.
Yeah, this is working, so it's good.
So what do you guys do then?
I do feel like I'm missing a step here, though, for a good exorcism.
You needed an old priest and a young priest. That's the problem.
No one started spinning around and vomiting yet, so it can't be over.
Dang, you're right, you're right. I gotta say some words here. Oh, demon, leave this basement. Stop your bullshit.
Is that an official church mantra?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Nicholas, as she begins saying this incantation, you get the confusion and the sorrow begin to fade away, and fear and worriness begins to well up in the entity behind the door, and it immediately retreats to the far recesses of the crawl space. So much so that it creates almost like a vacuum, and you can see the peeled back door begin to slap against the wall as air rushes forward and pulls into it. The cold beginning to be drawn back into the crawl space. Still cold enough to see your breath, but not as freezing as it was just a moment ago.
Gemma,
Did it just close the door on me? Yeah, what's up?
not to tell you your business as a sister of the church, but are you sure this is a demon?
I mean, what else would you call this? Isn't it like a proof of a demonic presence if the air runs cold?
Now, I mean, air can be cold through a variety of things, but
Listen.
usually it just is a matter of entropy and heat loss as energy is pulled out of an area and into a different area.
Okay,
doesn't-
listen, I know you're giving me the science semantics, but are you really telling me that explains why we can actually see our breath right now?
I'm just saying it doesn't mean it's demonic. It's just a
Well-
matter of energy transfer.
What do you suggest it is then?
I'm not sure, but I'm not. It doesn't seem to be attacking us or seem very hateful or hurtful. And wouldn't a demon have tried to, say, send all the bugs to eat us or something?
That's... I suppose that is a point.
Could you perhaps try to get it to speak? Isn't that a thing that you can do?
I don't think the church really approves of communicating with demons, but
Well, you
okay,
said that.
okay, fine. I'm gonna step up closer to the door, and I'm just going to say, "Ho, demon! What do you want?"
Let's see. Gemma, what are you expecting?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm hoping that, like, I don't know, I receive some sort of answer.
Give me another Arete difficulty 5.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
God.
So
Okay.
After saying that, the words kind of echo into the crawl space and bounce back. You can tell that it's a very long chamber back there just based off of how it sounds. And the room goes quiet as you all sit there and listen for a moment. And to your ears only, you hear several words hit at the same time. Help! Leave me alone! Help! Run! Stay! Hold me! Run! Someone! Help! All of those at the same time. You can hear each one, but they arrive to your ears simultaneously. And it was in a voice that sounds sort of muffled, like it's covered, or something was wrapped over someone's face when they were yelling it to you.
Muffled. Well, this is odd.
There's a lot of odd things in this situation.
Whatever it is, it speaks with a multitude of voices, and it is very conflicted, and I'm conflicted. I don't know what's going on here. It sounds muffled, though.
Muffled?
Muffled, like something is restricting its ability to speak. Like as if somebody covered. It's like if I covered my mouth with my cloth, and then I actually take some of my cloth and just go.
And
As you're explaining this, the whispers keep coming. You hear, "Please stay, help, go away." They keep coming in these conflicting messages.
It says, "Please help. Stay. Go away." I don't know.
And Nicholas, you said that when more bugs went in there, the presence got weaker?
Oh, not weaker. I'd say sadder, maybe, and more unstable. And I look very awkwardly up and around, not meeting Gimma's eyes.
So what exactly do you all propose that we do about this situation?
I'm not the one that can talk to it, unfortunately.
Well, what do you want me to say to it then?
Could you
I
ask
think we need to
how
get rid
we
of the
can help?
bugs. Oh, thing. I compel you to tell me how I can help you?
Get them off.
That's
Help me.
so very church-like.
Get them off. Get them out of me. Help. So cold. Hold me. Go away. Don't look at me. Help. Help me.
So it wants them off. So
Well, you're up at the door, right?
yeah, I'm up by the door.
Is there anything in there that's covered or particularly?
I can open the door again and check.
You wanna?
I'd hate if my great uncle had literal skeletons in his closet, but I can only assume that there might be.
I assume this will be a strength.
Athletics.
Athletics, okay. As I just kind of, grab a hold of the bit that's there and just try to pull it down as much as possible.
Yeah. If you're trying to rip that guy off, that's exactly what I would want. Unless you
Okay.
are, unless there's some kind of like judo maneuver for ripping off doors that you can apply martial arts to, then
I don't know about that one, Chief.
okay.
I
Then
mean,
yeah.
you can do like a flying kick or something.
Well, it's like from what I understand, it kind of sucked the door back in, so it's like there's not really like a good like surface area.
Handhold or
Yeah. I mean, I can get my fingers on it and then like yank down again.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, what's the difficulty for this?
The difficulty for it is going to be, I believe I had it at 7.
7. Okay.
7.
That is a success.
Alright, you peel back the door a little bit, and you can hear the wood bending and creaking as you put a solid crease in it. And you're able to pull it back far enough that, you know, maybe the smaller of you could suck it in and crawl inside, but it's not a very wide opening as long as that other hinge is still attached.
I mean, I'm
I see.
average and 5'10". Who's the smaller of us?
I'm
pretty thinnish and 5'10".
I'm fairly certain Gemma is the smallest. I
Got
could be
it.
wrong there.
So should Anthony and me try to hold the door open so you can squeak in there?
Of course, as you peeled the door back, a fresh batch of bugs that were on the other side came crawling out to investigate the sudden change.
I turn and I have this profound look of, I really don't want to go in there.
Well, the other option is we come back with tools to actually get the door off the hinge, and maybe some really strong insecticide.
Do we have? I mean, I assume whatever's been in here has been here for a while, but I hate to leave something calling for our help.
I mean, I agree, but we clearly did not come prepared for what was here. I mean, what's one more night? And also, one of the things it's saying is telling us to go.
I have an idea, and I want you to hear me out on this. I want you to let me go in there, and then do not look inside. Can you do that for me?
I mean, seems pretty easy since we'll have to make sure to keep holding it for when you want to come out.
Understandable.
Have a nice day.
with that, Gemma's just gonna take a deep breath and just go, oh god, I do not want to do this, but I have an idea. I don't know if this is gonna work or if this is gonna really mess up my day, but I'm going to crawl myself in there.
All right. So the boys hold the door open for you as best they can, allowing you to crawl in. The darkness doesn't let you see much in there. You can tell just based off the sounds that there are bugs everywhere inside of there, of various sizes. As your first hand, your right hand, hits the ground, it immediately is placed upon probably some ants, very, very tiny crawly bugs, and at least one millipede that snakes out from under it, leaving you to touch some cold, hard ground.
I see. I have one idea to try to get rid of these things. And my idea is that in my first fit, in, my whole vision thing, there was a moment where my arm was kind of on fire with divine flames, and, well, I think fire is a good way to kill a bunch of bugs.
Out of character, I swear to God, if you burn my house down.
I mean, to be fair, if she got stuck on the other side, I was thinking about doing something with fire to get through the door. So.
Yeah.
Well,
So
do you
would
have... Go ahead. Tell me what you want to do.
Would I be able to focus on my right arm, the one I knew had that happen, and let that fire burn forth? And I mean burn.
If you wanted to produce fire out of nothing, you would require at least 2 in prime and 3 in forces.
I have forces, not prime.
Yeah. Because you would basically need to generate this energy out of nothing, which is what the prime would be for, and then converting in that magical energy into fire would be the forces. If you had, say, a lighter or a candle or some original source of fire, you could use your forces magic to amplify it into something similar to a flamethrower or something like that.
And I take it spirit won't really do anything for this in this supplemental purpose.
In this situation, in this context, no. There could be a context where spirit could help, but not for what you're trying to do right now.
Okay. I'm gonna turn back to them and I'm gonna say, do either of you have a light, like a match or something?
What? No,
I don't
I
smoke.
don't carry matches.
Could you go get one, please, quickly?
Why do you need a match?
Don't question the church's methods.
No, I question the
Burn
church's
my-
methods.
Yes, actually, I do. Also question the methods of you using a match inside an old wooden house.
Listen, I just need to. I pause for a second. I just need to light a candle. It's helpful for prayer, I assure you. Now, please, hand it over.
I'm gonna
if that's...
call.
Hold on.
Making an empathy, or what do I roll to go? You're a liar.
Yeah. First of all, I want you to make a manipulation and
Okay.
Let's see. What would be good to go with that manipulation subterfuge? Yeah, manipulation subterfuge to see how well you can mask your intention here to light a candle. Go ahead.
Can I oppose that with charisma empathy?
No, it would probably be something like
Intelligence empathy?
Perception.
Yeah, I was gonna say perception empathy. That would make sense.
All right.
I too will try to see through this.
Yeah, go right ahead.
What's the difficulty for this exactly?
For you to lie. Well, just to make the lie, I would say a 6. You know, 6 all around here. They're going to be opposed successes. So yes, just 6 is on everyone. That
6 is on everyone?
Yep, 6 is on everyone here.
Please roll a 0. Please roll a 0. Please roll a 0. I do not want to explain myself right now.
Oh, I also got a 0.
Yeah,
I got a 2.
Anthony, you sense that she does not intend to light a candle.
And I can't get a read.
It's up to you, Anthony.
So, my only concern is that nobody's been here to check, anything like gas mains or anything like that.
I mean, I understand the concern, but would gas mains really be here? Wouldn't they be in the kitchen?
Also, you would probably smell
corpses
it
also can cause gas buildup.
Methane.
I mean, I don't think I smell methane. I'm pretty certain.
Wouldn't necessarily. They usually add the sulfur to it to make it be an actual smell.
That's a good point.
On top of that, it's just like your argument of would there be a gas main here is like, well, there shouldn't be a door leading to an insect-filled room with a weird presence on the other side of it here either.
Okay, fair. That's a good point. However, I ask that you have faith in me, in my methods.
I don't want you to blow up my shop, my future shop.
Burn my house down, or kill yourself inside of it, and then I get, put in jail for murder, as
Uh,
I've apparently set a young nun alight inside of my own house.
by the way, while this conversation goes on, you can feel bugs crawling all over you. Like
Yeah,
they've now
listen,
taken
I
a
knew.
liking to you now that they know you're there, and they're just all over your arms. Are you all the way in, or are you like halfway in this door right now?
I was under the assumption I was in all the way in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
is not the time to be conversing this. I need you to
Yeah,
just do what I say.
They are. You can feel them crawling inside of your habit. They are on your legs. They're up your sleeves. You can feel them on the nape of your neck. The bugs are just crawling all over you now.
Let's see.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I guess I could do a roll. Wife would be the roll to like create a bug repellent, right?
Excuse me.
Let's see. If you were doing life and you were trying to repel very small lives away, yeah, I could see that working. Let's say, first of all, explain how you're doing this.
I would, if I decide to do it, which I haven't yet, I would probably pull out a couple things from my bag, formaldehyde, that sort of stuff, to be a focus of kind of like a poison, not trying to necessarily kill them, but kind of put, I just don't know if life would be, if I'd rather like do like an aerosol type like gas that repels the bugs or anything like that, or if it'd be more of a direct thing. He's normally a human specialist, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least, if anything, you should know what is dangerous for Gemma to be exposed to.
Yeah, that's what that was the main thing, was trying to do something that doesn't also harm her.
The problem's going to be that if this is purely,
I can also use Prime. I have a dot in Prime.
Yeah, and the thing is here, the vehicle that you're using for this, you can definitely try to have it select for insects instead of her.
How about I do a life and mind? Can't I put the two of those together to... I sense the minds before, they're little. Can't I use life and mind to kind of make them want to leave?
Sure.
And then I can focus it that way on the insect minds, because they're much less complex, you said. They're very distinctly different than human beings that way.
Yeah, that seems reasonable to me. Just explain to me how you are conceptualizing this, and I'll tell you what you roll.
Alright, I'm not going to do it quite yet, but that is a thing I think I will want to do in just a little bit.
Okay.
I think what we'll start off with, though, is seeing if we can just, like, while we're trying to hold the door open, like, shine a light on her and see if the insects run away that way. Before I, start doing overt magic in front of people that I don't want to do overt magic in front of.
I have an idea. Wait a minute. Okay.
Before you say that, though, you guys are taking some time, so I'm going to tell you that the presence of the bugs are growing ever more ferocious. They are now gathering on you with greater thickness, let's say. But go ahead.
Can I do the light thing immediately then? Or mostly immediately?
I'm not stopping you from that. That's you.
Well, I try to shine the light on her.
Alright. You shine the light through the crack in the door. Immediately you see her silhouette in front of you, but you can barely see any of the white left of the habit, as she is completely drenched in bugs, completely coating her from head to tail. Roaches, spiders, daddy longlegs, mayflies, June bugs, all manner of bugs that you would find in this area have collected on top of her. But with the light on it, they seem to get a little skittish, and they fall away from the habit. Even some of them appear to like leap off of her and skitter to the recesses away from the light. Though you can still feel them underneath your clothes. the ones not
Yeah.
touching the light.
Absolutely. Noticing that this works and considering here's the thing. I don't have fire. But this does remind me of something that I do have.
Let there be light.
Let there be light. I would like to do what I was going to do originally. Just less fire, more light. Do you think that would be doable?
So, are you going to... You have a flashlight still with you, right?
Yes. However, I do kind of feel like there's more needed here.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
what you're going to do is... What do you expect to happen if this goes the way you want?
I am hoping that they will scurry away. Like, far, far away. And
I mean,
want
like,
nothing.
not what the bugs do, but what the light does. What do you expect the light to do?
To shine radiantly and divinely.
So, like, going from being a flashlight to like like stadium lights, just
Yeah,
super
bright.
super bright and like almost omnidirectional.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Tiny sun.
then let's do Arete at a difficulty 8.
Ooh, this is a hard
This is
one.
where the important failures come in.
Come on.
Because this is now going to be a vulgar spell. So there is additional difficulty here.
Dang it, because he's looking at me, isn't he? Okay.
I mean, I'm shining a light to keep bugs off of you, so try not to be too upset.
It's not just that someone's looking at you, because he's a mage, so it's not like a sleeper is watching you. It's just the fact that there is not a coincidental cause for this explosion of light coming out of this flashlight.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna just go ahead and roll it. Oh my god!
Well, damn.
8, 10. So, explain how you channel your magic through this flashlight.
I let the light of the flashlight shine out, and I bring up my right hand, and I remember that divine light, and I want to use this light to bring it forth again, gloriously, splendorously, to shine through the darkness.
Part of this, I'm kind of dropping the ball on my end as a storyteller. Since you're using forces, did you have a focus for forces magic?
Oh, I have my book around here. Somewhere. That makes it harder though, because it's like
because you were using the book for spirit stuff, and you just use the holy water as well for it. So I was wondering if you had something separate for the forces magic, or if the book is kind of acting as a focus for both.
I had my rosary, but the book can also be used for that, right? Sorry. I'm flustered. Ignore me.
Well, we can say it's your rosary then. I know you also have life. Do you have a focus for your life sphere?
Oh god, what was it? What was it for life? I think it was the holy water actually for that. I think, wasn't it? I think so, because of the whole like dichotomy of like water being the source of life and all that.
Okay. We'll try to keep that in mind in the future. I'm not going to worry about retconning stuff or anything. But if you want to, we can say the book is spirit, the holy water is life, and the rosary is forces.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, then let's talk about how you casted the spell with the rosary as your focus.
I think the big difference would just be that in my right hand, I would be clutching the rosary, letting it like kind of around my forearm and stuff.
All right. Then the light begins to shine brighter. Over the course of like a half second to a second, it widens in angle to a ridiculous degree. And the flashlight itself seems to have like an orb of light on the end of it. And the light has little transparent leaves circling around it and inside of it, kind of like a snow globe. And the leaves just kind of swirl around, giving off this light. And you can see along the walls, the patterns of the stems are kind of shadows in the light, but they dance and play with the stone around you. But at the same time, it illuminates for you just how awful this place is. You cannot, outside of very few specks of gray in the stone around you, it is absolutely painted with every manner of bug you've ever seen. And there's webs drenching down. But as the light pours onto them, they all seem to collect into a corner of the crawl space, and they're swarming almost like a viscous liquid around it. And the light, as it shines on it, they all scramble to get underneath the layer of bugs behind them, bringing forth out another layer, and they continuously broil and swoop inside of each other. It's a tangled, woven mess of bugs just trying to clamber on top of each other back in this corner. And with the bugs removed from the walls and the floor and the ceiling above you, you can see that there's now some spray-painted graffiti in there. Lining the bottom of the floor, you can see old rusted needles that have been laying in here. And you can tell that there's some empty boxes, sort of similar to what was in the basement with cloth draped over them. But with the bugs now removed, you can see that this place was some additional storage, but it looks like somebody may have been down here and using it as a living space.
Well, I'm certainly glad that I have light so that I don't stick myself with one of those now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Anthony and Nicholas, from inside, you can see this bright light pour out of that hole, much brighter than any flashlight should.
Does that cause the door to be any less hard to hold open?
No, it's still pretty difficult to hold open.
Gotcha. Just wanting to make sure.
Well,
Also, again, my eyes.
Hey, not looking that way, but still holding door.
Okay. I'm going to approach closer towards this ball, and my idea is to eventually I'm trying to shuffle beside it and eventually try to work my hand around the back of it so that the darkest area is now where I came from.
I'm sorry?
Okay, this is disgusting. The idea of this is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go towards that corner that they're in and try to put the light source behind them.
Kind of drive them out of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, drive them out. And that does mean...
Oh, God.
I'm gonna have to touch some.
Well,
It also means me and Crusader are in trouble.
Yes, a little
Just
bit.
be a stampede of insects. It's
And
fine.
as I do this, I just say, "Vermin of the world, flee from the divine light. Leave this place."
You crawl closer. And as you crawl closer, that same coldness that you guys felt before begins to... It was almost like a wall that you stepped into. You could feel an immediate dip in temperature as you get about 7 feet away from this riling mess of insects. And you hold the light out in front of you, and you can see the mess kind of concave as they try to stay away from the light. And as you get closer, some of them break off and begin to circle around you and then run out of the door where Anthony and Nicholas are holding it open. A trail of insects seem to be moving away from it, trying to stay as far away as possible. And as you get even closer, you get colder and colder. And despite the brightness of the light on your flashlight, amplified by your own ability to warp reality, it even begins to dim as it gets closer to it. And a appendage made entirely of bugs reaches out and clasps your hand, holding the flashlight.
Oh.
Oh god!
And it pulls you close.
Um.
Hold on. Can you make for me a... What would be probably the best to make sure that you hold your composure? I'm gonna say probably a stamina?
Composure?
Yeah, like not...
Are we talking physical composure or?
Yeah,
like...
I just want you to know if you drop the flashlight because of this.
Oh, okay. I guess it depends. I mean, if it's like more of like a fear thing, I would assume
Strength
that
or
would be
dexterity.
wit. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, keeping your wits about you. That is a good idea. We could do...
Yeah.
We could do wits and...
Awareness? Alertness for realizing you're almost dropping it?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's do that. Let's go wits alertness on a difficulty. Let's see, you are in a very tense situation, probably an 8.
Oh, let's hope this goes well. Oh, it does.
It does. So you're able to maintain control of the flashlight despite this reaching out and trying to pull you in. What do you do?
I feel like this dice roller is biased if I didn't keep getting so many ones.
So, to be clear, this thing is grabbing a hold of my hand, right?
Yes, it's a almost like a tentacle. It's like made entirely out of bugs, and it grabbed a hold of your hand and is pulling you towards it.
I'm going to say, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, be gone! As I then yank back, and I try to, like, because as it's trying to pull me in, I'm going to try to pull it out of the corner.
All right. You pull back, and some of the riling mess of bugs begin to scatter away at a greater rate than they were before. But now the entire mess pulls on top of you, and you kind of just get bathed in the riling mess. You pulled it, and it seems to like not resist at all. It willingly just let it get pulled on top of you, so much that, you know, how tough it was pulling you before, you wouldn't have expected it. And you sort of fall back, and it just lays on top of you.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, outside the door, you guys are just...
At the League of Justice.
You guys are just watching bugs escape out of here. They are just completely bolting out of this place. They seem to ignore each other, like bugs you would normally expect to kill one another, like the spiders and the ants and stuff. They're running away with gusto.
You know, Anthony, maybe we should have burnt this place down.
I mean, maybe, but she seems to know what she's doing. Like, whatever she's doing is working.
Are you all right in there? I can't see much of anything anymore.
They're everywhere! They're all over the place!
They're in my raccoon wounds.
When you open your mouth, even some of the bugs try
to
run into the darkness that is available there. But despite how gross you feel, you do notice something else. Despite it being a living mass of bugs, when you pulled it forward and it landed on top of you, it's almost like there's arms wrapping around you and holding you close, and maybe something laying on your chest.
Huh? Okay, I'm being. So it feels like I'm being held by a swarming mass, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that is uncomfortable, but I'm gonna like. I'm going to. So it kind of feels like there's something inside the mass.
Yes.
Then I'm going to reach into it with my right hand. I'm not super comfortable about it, but I want to grab a hold of whatever this is. Is that good?
The mass, you can feel what the heaviness there pull a little bit tighter, and it lurch up to the side of your neck underneath your chin, up under the lobe of your ear. You can feel little antennas wiggling underneath your ear as it gets close, and it says, "Please don't leave me. Please."
I think at this very moment,
And the sound of that voice seems to come from 1,000 little legs and wings whispering. They make the vibrations, and it sounds almost exactly like a human voice, just being done through the movements of the bugs. Please.
you aren't something evil, are you? You're just a lost soul.
Scared. As the moments pass by and it clutches onto you, more and more of the bugs retreat from the light. However, the effect of the spell is beginning to wear off. The orb of dancing leaves seems to be fading away. The angle of the light starts to return to more of a normal state as a regular flashlight. However, the bugs don't seem to be returning in as the light fades. And eventually, it dims down, and the light flickers and dies.
Mm.
And you still feel a weight on you, but the writhing mass, the sound of all of the antennas and the wings, the feeling of stuff crawling all over you is absent. It's just you in the dark with this weight on your chest.
Does the flashlight still work?
You flick it once or twice, but it seems entirely dead now.
I'm going to call out now, and I'm going to say, can one of you shine a light in now?
You guys can hear it. No problem.
Okay, then yeah, we'll shine a light in.
Anthony, you shine a light in and you peek in, and you can see that the room is, as I described before, seems like somebody was living down here in this little hovel. You see the needles, the graffiti, a little bit of live-in here. But sitting in the middle of the floor is a nun that has skeletal remains laying on top of her. Thin, leathery skin holding a bag of bones, and it looks like it's wrapped tightly around her. You can even see that the skin, despite its decay and how leathery it's become, there's tattoos on it, and even slight patches of old hair, and it's just laying on top of her.
You might not want to look, and you might want to just roll what's on you off, and then come out.
I don't think I do that. I'm going to hold it and try to get out with it.
All right.
Holding it carefully.
Yeah. No roll on that. You're able. It's very light now that it's lost all of the weight of the bugs on it. And you're able to get your footing. You can't stand all the way up in this crawl space, of course, but you're able to manipulate this body carefully and bring it towards the door.
I'm going to look up at the two of them and I'm going to ask, I don't suppose there is a good cemetery here.
This is going to cause so many problems. I believe there's one at the church, in fact.
Yes. Absolutely.
Then would you mind accompanying me? I believe we have work to do.
I mean, why do we have to be the ones to bury it?
I don't know, because they're big strapping men who can dig a hole.
I mean, typically, we did just acquire this property. We could just contact the authorities.
I mean, I don't want to direct you guys too much, but I feel like as a businessman and a successful businessman, you guys would probably know it's best to notify the authorities about finding a skeleton in your basement.
Yeah.
But don't let me necessarily tell you that. I just feel like
it
from
wasn't our basement before. We just acquired it. We walked in and oh hey,
a
there's
family
a skeleton.
house, and it obviously was used as some sort of drug den.
I'm going to firmly look at both of them and just simply state, this lost soul does not need the authorities. It needs a proper resting place.
And when the police come by and ask why you're holding a dead body in your hands, and we're digging up at the church, they're going to take God told me to do it as an excuse.
Okay, I don't know how long you've been, listen, for such a small town, you're acting like this place has an active, really active police department. I'm sure there is by now. Probably. I don't know.
What's the police captain's name? I'm sure we have a sheriff or something here.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna go with Sullivan.
Sullivan.
Captain Sullivan of the police force. Let's
Captain Sullivan.
We're just gonna put that in my NPC list here. I didn't just make that up. Captain Sullivan.
Alright. Notes. Sullivan.
I have a feeling we are going to need to be contacting this person at other points.
You're already expecting to be in lots of trouble. All right.
Maybe this should go into group notes.
All right. I suppose we can figure something out. How does the mind feel?
You don't sense it anymore.
Okay. Is that everything? Is there any other things down here we should be aware of before we leave?
I look back. Do I see anything of note?
Other than, empty little baggies and needles and obviously, as he said, the accoutrements of a drug den. No, you don't see anything else noticeable down there. You've also noticed that the cold air seems to have left you guys as you're no longer able to see your breath.
No. No, there's nothing else down here.
And the person you have, are they at rest currently?
Mm. I suppose close enough, but they won't know true rest until we have laid them down.
And is there any reason why we couldn't have the good captain come here first? It's
Well,
obviously not a murder or anything. We won't get in trouble if we report
that's
it.
what I was thinking. Like, this clearly had nothing to do with your relative.
If you want to notify anyone, you may go ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and lay this person down.
I mean, they'll get laid to rest, but there's also a chance that maybe they could be identified and maybe they have family who would like to know.
I suppose. I'm just... I want them to get the proper rest they deserve as soon as possible is all.
Then why don't you stay here and make sure everything's set out for their final rites or whatever, and I will get Sullivan on the phone and we'll get this sorted out as quickly as possible so that we can lay them to rest properly. Now, I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk off and pull out my phone. I'm sure I
Right.
have the police chief's number.
Yeah. Even a responder is on the line. They don't have like very many officers on hand, and Sullivan's already gone home for the night. But they said that there is, they've got a couple of officers that always like to set up a speed trap just on the edge of town to catch people going down the highway too fast. It's a easy revenue for the police department, but they said they'd send a squad car over immediately.
Right. Now, I'll let them know what's happening, so...
Mm-hmm. And while that goes on, Gemma, are you still inside the crawl space, or are you with the body outside the crawl space? In the basement still?
I would be outside with the body.
All right. As you sit there with the body, its jaw falls open, and you hear a sigh, almost a sigh of relief, and the words, "Thanks." I'm not sure if you could hear that, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And the where it was clutching you so tightly before, it now kind of goes limp, and it now falls very loose. It's almost like the bones inside of this leathery skin have now lost any tenseness that they could have had, and now they're loose inside of it. And you're suddenly struck with the aroma of death, as if it had been held off for a while, but now it sort of hits you suddenly.
Oh, okay. I hold my head kind of low and just offer a silent prayer for them.
All right.
And now, Anthony, how are we going to explain the fact that the three of us are in this house after dark and happen to come upon a body?
Well, we were having dinner. Yeah, we were talking about this restaurant, the idea. And the church said that with how great my cooking was, they wanted to send someone over to help bless the property, to ensure a good business and good food. And we still needed to get a few measurements and everything for future renovations, so we were heading over tonight, and that is why the good sister is here with us.
All right.
That's fine.
That's fine?
I mean, you could always just tell them the truth.
That we were here because you wanted to perform an exorcism. and that we stumbled across a dead body after being attacked by swarms of insects.
Well, we can stop at the exorcism part, can't we?
That's why I twisted what the exorcism was and blessing the property.
Very well.
At this time, the police show up. They've got their lights on, but it's not sirens, and a pretty Chadley looking man steps out of the cruiser with police gear that is about 10 times more necessary than is, well, you know. Yeah. And he walks up with his little pad in hand and he says, well, I heard that there was a body found at the residence.
Yes, officer. Here, follow me, and don't mind the bugs.
Yep. Oh yeah, old Francis's house. Well,
Looked like some sort of druggie got into the basement.
well, let's take a look. He follows you down with his flashlight up by his head, pointing down, and as soon as he looks in there, he sees Gemma holding the body. Good lord, girl! Don't touch it! Oh, the smell! Oh. Well,
Yes, it is rather strong.
That's certainly not a fresh one. Whew! Well, you weren't kidding. That doesn't look good. We'll have to get a full detail in here. Well, can you point out to where it was? We're gonna have to take a look around.
I have a bit of like a kind of expression about that reaction he had, but I'm gonna just point over towards the crawl space.
He
They were in there.
he sort of strides over to the wall and takes a look in there with his light. He goes, well, yeah, I think you got a pretty good handle on what this was. This unfortunate feller here probably had his last moments down here on a drug binge, it looks like. Well, guess we'll have to get a hold of the morgue. We'll have to do a whole check out of him. And he looks down and he notices one of the tattoos. And he pulls his hat off of his head and holds it over his chest and goes, well, dear Lord, I reckon I know that feller. I think that's Denver. Man, he went missing, some bitch, maybe 7 years ago. Man, that's been a while. Jesus, this is where he wound up. We all knew he had a problem. We tried to get help for him. But every time he went into rehab, he always broke out. The withdrawal was terrible. They said that it always felt like there were bugs crawling all over him, in his skin, and it haunted him. So of course he'd go back to the drug. Well, I'll have to notify his family. I presume that's him. I recognize that tattoo, but man, I haven't seen him in a long time. I didn't imagine this is how he ended up. You'll excuse me. I knew him personally.
Of course.
Sorry for your loss.
It's a shame what has happened, but
Yeah.
at least he can live peacefully now.
He puts his hat back on. He signals on the radio that they need to get the mortician here, verify the identity, and he jots down some notes on the pad. And he says, once the mortician gets there, he and the mortician load the body up on a little stretcher, and you guys help him, I presume, get it out of the house.
Mm-hmm. I would.
Mm-hmm. After they load it up, he goes, well, yeah, it was about 7 years ago. Last time we saw him, he broke out of the clinic, when it was still running, that is. Man, time flies, but that was a cold winter, and I'm sure he didn't want to go back home. As a matter of fact, probably was afraid to. He didn't get along with his parents very well. I know, bless their hearts, they tried to do their best.
But it seems like every one of those little rascals that hung around with Josephine ran away. Well, we never saw him again.
Hearing that name, I kind of perk up and I go, did you mention... What was that name you mentioned?
Oh, Josephine Landon. She was a big old rebel around here, always starting up trouble. You got a bunch of people hauling around with her, always trying to start some new activist thing or trying to push someone one way or another. But her old troop was a bunch of runaways, and when it all fell apart when she left town, they kind of just scattered to the wind, and Denver here was one of them. I guess he didn't handle it well. That was a good... Whew. Well, it was about that time, so around 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago when she skipped town. Haven't seen her since, but yeah, she caused us a lot of trouble. And it looks like Denver here was one of the ones that was worse for wear for it. God bless his soul.
Ah, I see. So, all right. Thank you for
Why?
the clarification.
She sound familiar to you? You wouldn't be another one of her little rascal friends, are you? I don't recognize you.
No, I would not consider myself a rascal. I just,
I'm
suppose
sorry.
that's
I'm
the,
sorry. I came off as an interrogation. I know you just seen some real hell tonight, and I don't want to put that on you. My apologies, young lady.
It's all right, really.
Well, I've got quite a report on my hands. Fellas, I know Mr. Bessette owns this property. I presume you are Nicholas?
Yes.
I'm sorry, old Nicky, it's been a while. I don't think I recognize your face. It's been quite a few years, but my condolences. I did not know you were back in town. Sorry I missed you, and that this is the welcoming that you got. But
It's no problem. It was just very recent.
well, I'm glad you're very understanding in that. I hope the rest of your stay goes much better, and I will leave you all good night. I don't know, considering the age of this body, if we'll need to do a full investigation, but please don't disturb it until we can at least contact you tomorrow, okay?
Of course, I will keep the property locked and give my best to Captain Sullivan.
Right, I will. Good night. And the officer steps back into a squad car. The morgue and mortician and the officer peel out for the night, leaving you guys outside a house that seems significantly less dark than how you found it.
Maybe it
Well,
wasn't just an old house with bad lighting.
What can I
Would-
say? I have good intuition.
would you care for a ride home, sister? Or would you prefer to walk?
I suppose I am quite exhausted. I would appreciate the ride.
Of course. I believe we could all use some rest, so
Yeah, that was an ordeal.
Certainly was. But
Um,
thankfully, we only had to deal with it momentarily. I hate to think how long he had to experience that.
Well,
I do
7 years from the sound of it.
well, as you guys drop off Gemma and head on your own ways to rest for the night, Gemma, you're able to climb into bed in the dusty old church. And as you're about to nod off to sleep, outside your window, roughly in the area of where that house was, you can sense a presence kind of above it.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it's just a shooting star or a play of the lights or something, but a golden leaf seems to flutter straight through the window, through the glass, drift into the room, and land on your nose before puffing into dust. And that's the end of session 1.
Followed by mini showers and much laundry.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
yes, please. Oh, God.
I very much considered asking if the church still had working water.
Yeah,
I
it's
hope so.
she has a bathroom that with like they were outfitted for it. So yeah, you got a shower. You can even do your laundry there, no problem.
Okay, good.
All right. So who wants experience points?
I like
Ooh,
experience.
I like experience, yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever had to dole out experience points in this game. I know that everybody gets at least one for just participating in the session. I believe everyone here did get to use a new magical effect, which I will count as doing something, arcane. So also give yourself an additional one there. Let's see. Was there any particularly witty uses of magic?
I don't know.
I'm trying.
Particularly with
I feel like
Seems-
Abortius is shape-shifting me now. Before that happens, I'm just going to say this was very lovely. I'm going to end my recording for the YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed this content, please leave me a comment and let me know. If you enjoy any of my co-hosts here, my wonderful friends Crusader, Karadur, and Kiyana, then please let them know down there. And we'll see you guys in the next one.